The world watched a man fall on September 10th. Many mourned, a loud group cheered, and the rest found themselves exposed to the truth. The Democratic Party has been infiltrated by evil. They thought they silenced Charlie Kirk, but what they did do is spark a turning point. I call it the Kirk effect. So far, we have seen the Kirk effect hit every aspect of our lives. It started within seconds. A great divide occurred in our very palms. Family, friends, co-workers, and even influencers all celebrating the end of a fellow citizen, a human. Most turned in horror, but others cheered, danced, and announced aloud to their communities online and in person they were glad he died. They thought this would go unchecked. Freedom of speech, some screamed. But only once they were fired from their jobs, expelled from their schools, shunned from their friends. A few days passed, and it was time for church. Many found their home of Christ wasn't so Christ-like. On the other hand, many pews that had adjusted to absence now saw an astounding call to faith and Jesus. The Kirk effect was worldwide.
Erstes für Charlie Kirk, für seinen Widerstand und seinen Einsatz.
People took to the streets to call to Jesus and praise his name, praise their nations, and praise Charlie Kirk's name in prayer.
I am Charlie Kirk.
I am Charlie Kirk started trending at all ages, in all nations, and many with Jesus. No longer will the conservatives stand silent. No longer will they shrug off the once nuisance turned terrorist so that we could have peace. You know, the kind of peace that we saw in the Summer of Love, with BLM and Antifa going full anarchist in their liberal cities. You know, the ones that were funded by our socialist Democrats. Allegedly. The same socialist Democrats who have not only been calling for violence for over half a decade.
Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" Catch!
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
And shut down the Senate! We are at war!
We're at a war right now.
We are at war.
So you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
And that's why gloves are off.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And yes, there are many threats to democracy. We see it with these extreme candidates.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
But you can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
What the American public want is for us to bring actual weapons to the smart fight. This is an actual fight.
You know, this is literally call to arms.
The MAGA movement is a threat.
Michelle says that, when they go low, we go high.
No. With all due respect, if they go low, we don't go high.
When they go low, we kick them.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
And make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down, because they deserve it.
Get up in the face of some Congress people.
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your...
We have to fight this in the streets.
And we're going to fight it in the streets.
It's time to step out of your comfort zone and step out into the streets.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist! You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store.
What about a gasoline station?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
He's not going to have a third term. He may not finish his term.
Yes, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. Just saying. There will be news.
Piece of crap.
Just so you know, there will be news.
But are denouncing Charlie Kirk just days after his passing. The Kirk effect is exposing evil from our personal lives to an international level. A week after his passing, even conservative evils began to expose themselves. But that's a video for another day. Now I am grounded and present. And to be here in this moment, because of him, for him, and see so many feeling the same way, powerful, unstoppable, and in the light and protection of Christ. The Kirk effect. The Kirk effect seemed to take place immediately after his assassination. As I said, within minutes we saw a great divide. People in tears while the others laughed, danced, overjoyously cheered. And it was terrifying. It was not only terrifying because we all watched him die in front of us. It was terrifying because we, who are conservatives, know we share these simple views that really are not a threat to anybody and are truly the Christian values and morals that we all look towards. Love thy neighbor, treat others kindly. All Charlie Kirk wanted to do was open people's eyes to the truth, and he was killed for it. It sparked something in a lot of people like me who feel like we can't be silent now. Like there's no way. You would have to tie bricks to each of our feet and throw us all into the river because we are standing strong for Charlie Kirk, standing strong for our nation, our nation's constitution, and the morals that we hold as Christians. To see so many young people rise up, tell their friends they're wrong for celebrating and really understanding you can't be around people that act like that because you do start to become it. I heard terrifying stories of people who were Democrats and woke up that day because they realized the people around them were cheering and laughing.
Leaving the Democratic Party was one of the best decisions I ever made. Y'all, I still got chills. I just hung up with one of my friends. We have not talked since election time. She didn't like who I voted for. I didn't like who she voted for. So we went our own separate ways. So I haven't talked to her since like the end of last October. Y'all, tell me why she just called me. Breaking down, crying. I'm like, what's wrong? She was like, I encountered a demon last night. So she said she joined some type of left group on Facebook of other people with the same political beliefs as her. They get together, they go protest together, XYZ. She said last night they got together to go celebrate Charlie Kirk. So y'all, she said they got to the one of the people's house. They was sitting there drinking, chilling, smoking. She said they was sitting there like talking about how they was happy that he was. She said she got this weird feeling in her chest like, y'all, this is not right. We should not be talking like this. She said one of the guys from the group, she said his eyes turned black. He got up, rushed her up against the wall, had his hands around her, telling her, it's right. He got what he deserved. Harris will be president. Y'all, she said it looked like it was a literal demon coming out of him, y'all. She said her first thought was to just react and say, you're right, I was just joking. She said because the other people in the group was just standing there like, yeah, you're right. Like, you better agree that he got what he deserved, y'all. She said when she left, she said she played it off, stuck around for a little bit longer. She said when she left, she got home and started praying so bad. Y'all tell me why she said she started spitting up green stuff. She said she got that out of her system like it was the worst thing she did, y'all. It's like she want to hang out with me tomorrow, but a part of me is scared. I don't know if all of those demons is fully out of her.
Jesus, take the wheel. Oh my goodness, I am all about forgiveness and second chances, but this story creeped me out, but I'm not 100% sure if I would be ready to hang out with my friend after she just told me that she was throwing up some demons.
One woman talked about how she was choked by a man she truly felt was possessed, and she once looked at him as a friend just because she didn't want to celebrate the death of a fellow man. The death of KIRK sparked something in every nation. A last straw. Because the conservatives have been kind and quietly taken this beating. Conservatives have been turning the cheek for too long. Willing to be silent for peace. But they did turn that into terrorism. They took advantage of the silence and spoke louder, almost from the backs of these people. It's really gross to think about, honestly. So after all of the exposure happened and so many people made videos, literally within seconds of him being shot, they made videos laughing and praying that he was dead. And
you want to see what a demon actually looks like? Well, I just saw a demon on camera.
This is Red Dawn Daily. I am bringing her videos here today to show us the demonic side of the Democrats and the evil that has infiltrated our country.
Look.
Did you see that? Oh man, Charlie Kirk. You know, to the Charlie Kirk family. Did you see all that came out of his? It's like,
there you go. That's a demon in real life. Why, you ask? Because demons hate the truth.
I was not kidding when I said, if you were gonna get the job done, there were two better candidates. And furthermore, when that happens, and it will, it will, not only will we be insensitive, that'll be the least of your worries. But it's gonna be the biggest celebration, the biggest, most beautiful celebration on planet Earth. On planet Earth right now. The entire planet is gonna celebrate when he takes a turn. Finally.
Stop it. Get some help.
You support a shooter?
Yep, sure do. Freedom.
You support Charlie Kirk shooter?
Sure do. He does all a favor.
Would you shoot somebody like Charlie Kirk?
I would have myself.
You would have killed him yourself. Okay. Do you have a job here in Seattle?
And it just goes to show you that these people do not care about you. They will laugh at you when you're at your worst moments.
Charlie Kirk got shot and killed. How do you feel?
Happy. Goodbye.
Wow.
You nasty.
Did you see that Charlie Kirk just got shot and killed?
That's good.
Wow. That's good. That's good that people are getting shot just off a political view. Good that people are dying in America.
Did you see that Charlie Kirk got shot and killed today?
Yes, I did.
How do you feel about that?
I don't really have any feelings about it.
Girl, please.
Who are you?
Charlie Kirk got shot and killed today. We're just getting people's opinions. How do you feel about that?
Girl, someone had to do it. And that's how I feel at this point in time. But
Yeah, I appreciate your honesty. I truly do. So you said someone had to do it.
yes. Try not to get all pulled up into that, but he was a misogynist. He was a disgusting person with disgusting beliefs.
So if you had a magical wand, a magical button that you could press and keep him from being assassinated, would you press that?
No. I think things happen for a purpose. And if that's how his life was ended, then that's how it was ended. So
this celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Watch this.
Bye, Charlie Kirk. Like you said, people getting shot and killed for the Second Amendment is so worth it. I never thought we'd agree on anything. Bye.
By the sword, die by the sword. He did say that gun deaths were an acceptable side effect of gun rights.
Joshua, you're a clown.
Congratulations to Charlie Kirk for becoming the new poster child for gun awareness and violence.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
These people are absolutely despicable. Remember, this is the same side that's telling you they're about doing the right thing and about being virtuous and about supporting people and about doing the right thing. These people are disgusting.
There are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
Well, breaking fucking news, folks. Seems somebody just took a shot at one of the Fantafast's favorite 5-mile wide mouthpieces, Charles Chucklefuck Kirk.
Hi, Donald. Thought I would check in after, today's activities. Charlie Kirk? I mean, he himself said a couple of deaths here and there aren't so bad to keep our Second Amendment right. And then later, another school shooting.
Sympathy for the kids who are getting bombed in Palestine. Save your sympathy for the people who are getting thrown in the concentration camps right now. Save your fucking sympathy for the people getting deported right now for no reason. Save your sympathy for those people and not an evil man who has done nothing but harm other people and be a Nazi. Why are you empathizing and sympathizing with him? I don't care that he was a person. He wasn't to me. He was a Nazi. And if that doesn't make me a leftist because I think he's better off gone, so fucking be it. So fucking be it. Because a lot of y'all like to talk a big talk, but then when someone finally walks the walk, y'all are like, this is so bad. This is so bad. Shut the fuck up. Take your fake ass moral views and get the fuck out of
You're a stupid person. You don't understand anything.
He was shot because we don't have food in our fridge. He was shot because our co-workers of color are being incarcerated and sent back to their country for no reason. He was shot because we don't have health care. We are so mad up to the point that we're actually starting to take pew-pews and take them to politicians. And honestly, I do not agree with gun violence at all. I feel like there's other ways that we can have a discussion without having to bring out the pew-pew. But we have tried. We've done peaceful protesting. We've wrote into the government. But no, these red-sided people don't care. So what do you think we're gonna do? The red-colored people are like, he was such a good person. Why did he get shot? If you've seen the video on Twitter, please listen to the last 10 seconds of what he said before he went. And if you, honestly, y'all, he had it coming. I'm so sorry.
This is controversial, but I'm gonna say it with my whole chest, and I'm not gonna apologize for it, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it. I've talked about this before, I'll talk about it till I die. I was a nurse during COVID in 2020, and I witnessed and watched an entire nation deny that our vulnerable population was at risk and dying by the fucking droves. Not even just the at risk, like anybody and everybody was dying. And I watched the whole country say, not my problem, not my problem. I can't handle the mess, not my problem. So I don't feel guilty for people anymore, and I don't think that like death absolves you for anything. So when I say Charlie Kirk is dead, ha! You live a hateful life, you get a hateful ending. Point blank, period. I don't feel sorry for you. You're not getting my thoughts and prayers. You're getting my ha-has. Sorry. Oh my gosh, he got shot and killed. That dude literally is a rage baiter. You baited it, babe. Oh, but he wanted a fan. No, he doesn't. He's protecting families. He hates women. Hates families. But thoughts and prayers. Rest in peace, Angel.
Before the consequences of your actions come to slap you in the face.
Gather around. Let's all join hands and bow our heads in thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk. Thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Just terrifying things that you never want to see a fellow human be doing, because what if it was you? What if it was your family? Those people ended up being fired. A lot of them. Like 10,000 at the very least.
After the consequences of your actions come to slap you in the face.
On Wednesday, September 10th, when Charlie Kirk was shot, I posted a video offering him the same thoughts and prayers that he offered after every child was senselessly gunned down while at school. Within an hour, and before any condition was known on Charlie, I posted a follow-up video expressing why I felt the way I did, and even ended with, I hope Charlie Kirk makes a full recovery and goes on to become a gun violence advocate. Since if you have watched any of the videos on my page, you would know I stand firmly on not being violent, and that violence is not the way we are going to fix things in this country. Well, since I posted those two videos, my life has been completely turned upside down, and I have been thrown into what I can only explain as literal hell. First, my address was leaked, and then all of my family's personal information followed. My boyfriend's company, again, I said he's my boyfriend, he is not my husband, that has absolutely nothing to do with TikTok, with my TikTok account, or social media, or politics in general, has been defamed and slandered. Calls and negative reviews started pouring in by the thousands. Someone showed up to his company, entered his private office, and verbally assaulted him. My child, and my family's lives have been threatened thousands of times. I have received text messages and emails saying I should be raped and murdered, and that people are coming to my house, say my address, and then say they are coming to spray it with bullets.
You sure about that?
MAGA protesters have shown up to my house, driven through my private neighborhood, sent me hate mail, left notes on my boyfriend's office, and my own neighbor has offered to share my whereabouts with the internet. Yes, you heard that correctly. My neighbor has offered to share my whereabouts with the internet. We have been traumatized and stripped of our privacy, all because I said Charlie Kirk, who did not believe in empathy himself, did not have mine. I think the most ironic thing is that my life and my family's lives have been torn apart over my words on the internet by the very people who support Charlie Kirk and are always yelling the loudest about their First Amendment right and freedoms of speech. And while I realize and believe strongly that words have consequences, there is nothing that I did or said that even deserved a percentage of what happened to me and my family. And I know I am not the only one whose life has been destroyed over this. Hundreds, if not thousands, of other content creators on this very app have been fired from their jobs and doxxed. And I must say, that really terrifies me, because it makes it clear that these people only want us to have the First Amendment right and freedom of speech when it fits their narrative. That is not the country I was born in, and that is certainly not the country I want to raise my child in. So today I come to you with a few calls to action. First, if you or anybody you know has been doxxed, harassed, threatened, or fired, please reach out to me via email at I'veBeenDoxxed. Secondly, please consider attending your local No Kings Part 2 protest on October 18th. And third, if you are a California resident, I'll end with this. Right now, the most important thing we can do is support each other. Fascism hates community.
And to that we say, thoughts and prayers to you, whatever your name is, because we don't know who you are. Cheers.
Yes. Oh, let me taste your tears, Scott. Your tears are so yummy and sweet.
Deep down inside, you're clearly crying for your life.
We have sent out over 300 emails to employers, and we have gotten now 15 confirmed fires. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Gabrielle from Illinois, you're fired. Lincoln from Utah, you're fired. Amanda, another Amanda, from Wyoming, you've been terminated. Suck it. Shasta from Washington State, your ass is fired. And Curtis, again from Texas. What the hell, Texans? What the fuck?
I got fired! I got me fired from my job! I woke up and told myself the shit from the Charlie Kirk shit from yesterday. What the fuck? I'm gonna pay my rent! What the fuck, y'all? I told y'all was gonna not give me fired when y'all did!
Fired from my job. I was just 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 fired from my job. Now I have nothing but this. I have nothing but this website. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. I have nothing anymore. Ah! 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 No!
What you are? You're a clown.
With cherry by uncanadiable integer. Concerned men, where is cherry?
Now, I don't know why you decided to record this, but I don't understand the brains of mentally ill people. So yeah, you can do what you want to do. And you did make my day by recording this video. So thank you.
My TikTok done bit me in the ass because I just got let go from my job for my TikTok. I guess my boss saw the TikTok, so I'm on my way home right now.
I'm just really glad Charlie Kirk just got himself fucking shot, because he's right. Empathy is dangerous to society. So no one should give a fuck that he's dead. He said it. I'm just saying his words. All I'm doing is using his words. You can't be mad at me for using his words. I think empathy is a new wave thing and is very problematic. You right. No empathy for you. Zero.
Well, doesn't it suck to be you?
Name, shame, defame. Do you remember when you wouldn't get a COVID vaccine, so they told your job and they fired you? Do you remember when they made your life hell because you wouldn't bow down and get their clot shot? Now it's our turn. The website I'm going to post is where you can submit verifiable information on people who have celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk. These people need to be fired. They need to be doxxed. They need to have their lives ruined. I have already submitted 4 reports today to schools. One of them was a Christian school. 3 of them were middle schools. These leftist and liberal freaks are teaching your children to hate, to kill. They are turning your children into cannon fodder. And you're just gonna sit there and let them? These people have infested every avenue of society, and we've allowed them to. And now look what they're doing. They're turning children into demonic little freaks. Leftists and liberals have no power. They are weak. So what they do is they go around behind people's backs. They subvert your children. They attack things that you cannot outright defend. They are vile beings, and they need to be eradicated from our society. You're going to celebrate the death of a man. No longer name, shame, defame. Ruin these people's lives. Mishima says that there is no heroic death. Charlie Kirk has proved otherwise. He's a hero and he's a martyr. And we can never forget what he's done, especially in his passing. It is your duty, as an American and as a person who knows what's right, to keep these freaks away from us and your children. They hate you and they want you dead, just like Charlie. Are you gonna let them do that to you, to your kids, to your family? Charlie could have been your brother, your cousin, your football buddy.
It's not
It's propaganda. I'm sorry. We don't put that here.
Alrighty, so, what's your name? I'm Phil. I'm print supervisor.
I'm one of the managers.
Yes.
So, unfortunately,
So they say they don't print political propaganda. So this is somebody that passed away a couple years
That's
ago.
political propaganda, unfortunately.
So this is for a prayer tonight, for a prayer vigil?
It's still propaganda, unfortunately.
What
makes it propaganda? Because he's a political figure, and I don't have to.
Our general manager is going to be in on Monday. If you no, it's totally okay. No,
These are the type of people that we're dealing with. Again, these are the same people who preach empathy, who preach acceptance. They're hypocrites. Charlie Kirk was just assassinated due to their extreme rhetoric. Fascist, 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 Hitler, fascist, Hitler, fascist, fascist, fascist. Now we have leftists working at Office Depot who won't even let these people get their images printed. Think about it. The side of love, tolerance, and acceptance won't even print off a poster for Charlie Kirk after he was assassinated by a leftist extremist. These are the type of people that we're dealing with. Home Depot, are these the type of people you want representing your business? Is this how Home Depot wants to be represented? Is this the message you want to send out, Home Depot? Please let us know. These people are disgusting. All right, so that employee from Office Depot has been fired.
He had it coming. He had it coming.
2 moments later.
I just had to block all of my friends because they just have such different political beliefs from me, and I thought that we were the type of friends who would live together someday after college and like stay in touch no matter what. And I thought these were the people that I would spend my life with and grow old next to. These were the people who saved my life on multiple different occasions. And I just don't know if I can continue being friends with them because of this. I just don't know I dropped out of school for these people. I started homeschooling because of these people.
Miss Crybaby.
And I don't know what I'm gonna do because we go to such a small school together. And I don't know how I'm gonna be able to face them. These people are my whole life. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to avoid them. Yeah. I don't care if you think that this is my own fault for being the person to blow up these relationships, because everything that they say makes me feel like such a shit person. And I can't have that in my life. Not anymore. Okay, I used to not respect myself to cut people out of my life for things like this, but now I do. Now I respect myself enough to not want to feel like this. God, I'm probably gonna delete this because it's so fucking embarrassing crying on camera. But, God.
Right, that it is not wrong or unethical or unkind to laugh at the misfortunes of terrible people, that Charlie Kirk incited violence. That's what he did. And then that came back to haunt him. That was his decision. So it's got nothing to do with the people who are laughing and joking about him becoming a human water fountain.
I swear to God, I'm gonna blow my casket. I really am.
You're what?
A few moments later.
So I received information that I've been doxxed on X, so I'm going to have to step away for a little bit. And the AFP have been contacted, and also the E-Safety Commission as well have been contacted, because there's been a large number of threats coming through. And the irony of this situation, that all I did was say some words that offended some people, and now people have decided to take that into the real world and start, threatening and harassing and abusing people out in the real world based on their inability to manage their emotions.
I think most of it is just people who are completely unable to handle the criticism that is coming back to them, because here's the thing. If you decide you want to have a public opinion on the internet, the people that hear that opinion are entitled to comment on it. And most of these people, when they start getting the comments or the criticisms, they call that harassment. No, honey, it's not harassment. We're just giving you our opinions and you don't like it.
My name is Luna, activist teacher, and I teach 4th grade in Florida. It's already been such a hard year having to deal with everything that Ron DeSantis makes me do, like teach math. I am currently...
It's already so hard with everything that Ron DeSantis makes me do, like teach math. You're a freaking teacher, come on. Come on. The stupid shit that comes out of these people's mouths never ceases to amaze me.
On administrative leave, and my principal has told me that I will most likely not be returning back to the classroom. All because I celebrated the murder of a misogynistic, racist, xenophobic fascist. Just to be clear, all I did was post a video where I was dancing and saying that he got what he deserved while pouring out a beer. I was also wearing a graphic t-shirt that depicted the moment that he died. And then I said his kids are better off without him.
You done lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call me.
Really.
Oh, that's all? That's all you said? No wonder you're covering your fucking face, so you don't want people to see what you look like.
Not that bad, and for taking away my rights for free speech. And to think that I had at least 7 LGBTQ plus students in my classroom, and I know they need me. This is just so unfair.
I'm sorry, but in my opinion, those students don't need you specifically. They need a good, decent human being to look up to, which you clearly aren't.
It doesn't matter if you don't speak somebody's name. Just describing a situation is enough to get you fired. I did not know that.
A lot of these people are thinking it's Charlie specifically. It's celebrating a death. Charlie Kirk's death just seemed to reach a lot more people. So a lot more people are mad about it. But it's the act of celebrating the death of a husband, a father, a friend that, had a massive, massive platform. Celebrating the death of someone shows your real character, and that's what's getting you fired. Not because it's Charlie Kirk.
But now I sure do now. I don't know what I'm meant to do in this life. I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I am trying to follow the path that I thought God had for me and wanted for me. But I just keep getting thrown in different ways. Maybe I make stupid decisions. Yes.
Yes. You make stupid decisions. And probably, as of late, the dumbest decision that you made was celebrating a death on the internet, and it cost you your job.
Stupid comments about Charlie Kirk on the day that he was shot. I said some things on Blue Sky and on Threads that I'm sorry, not sorry for, but I said them, and I deleted them when it was requested that I do so by my employer. And then today, on a weekend,
He's gonna cry, cue the tears, he's gonna cry.
I'm told that I am no longer employed at Microsoft after 6 years. building the diversity, equity, and inclusion department from scratch.
Oh, so you were fired because you were a DEI hire. That makes a lot more sense.
Scratch. I lose my job because one of you, some random person, reports my posts.
Yeah, but you would have been fired for anything because you're a DEI hire.
To my employer, goes out of their way to find out where I work and takes my job, takes my security away from me for a thought.
Yeah, maybe so, but you're a DEI hire, so I'm sure they were grateful.
For an opinion, and you talk about freedom of speech like you care about it?
Again, freedom of speech does not protect you from real life consequence. Sorry, not sorry.
And you're just gonna take my money, my life, my food off my plate because I don't like Charlie Kirk? That's not okay. It is not okay to target me because I felt joy that day. I can't help how I feel.
I'm sorry, but there is something mentally wrong with you if the death of another human being makes you feel, quote, joy. He says, I can't change how I feel. I felt joy. Not only is there something mentally wrong with you that you think it's okay to feel joy and rejoice in another person's death, murder, and then you have enough screws loose to put it on the internet like you think that everyone that watches you is going to agree? Sorry, babe. You felt joy when someone was killed for having an opinion. So now a lot of us are feeling joy that you've received consequences for your actions.
Joy! That's me. That's what I believe. That's what I think of him. I can't help that. So I don't deserve a job?
For someone whining that words are just words, you seem awfully triggered by ours. And that's the funny thing about words. They matter. Yours defend a man who spent his entire career weaponizing rhetoric, and ours clearly got under your skin. If Charlie Kirk's words were just words, why did they have real-world consequences? He spent years attacking DEI, and now we've got companies like Target rolling back diversity programs because of pressure campaigns.
There's that special word again, that very special word.
Fueled by rhetoric exactly like his. It's almost like words become actions. This is how influence works. Jim Jones didn't lead 900 people to drink cyanide because he was quiet. I promise you, Hitler didn't rise to power on hugs. Hate crimes don't just happen. They are born from words that make hate feel justified. So no, his words were not harmless and yours aren't either. And the fact that ours got you this worked up proves the point you're too scared to face.
Yeah, words matter. So I guess that makes us all hypocrites. Calling out of DEI was calling out scams just simply wasting money. That's why they were getting rolled back, in my opinion. I personally find it amusing that the side that is constantly triggered and offended for every single little thing is refusing to acknowledge the fact that it took literal death to trigger us. We are not the same.
I got fired from my job today because someone publicly doxed me. And it was so bad that even my coworkers were getting harassed just for answering the phone. And I know I'll be okay, but I just posted a GoFundMe like 20 minutes ago and it's already over $4,000. And I just like...
Who is giving her money? Oh. People that are just as vile as she is. Why do I even need to ask?
Can't express enough gratitude for my community. And I'm not going to let this silence me. And I don't know what you MAGA losers thought you were going to get from giving me nothing but more time on my hands. But I love everyone. Simply for your support, and if you contributed to my GoFundMe, thank you so much. I am so grateful, you have no idea. Fired. I just got a call from my boss and the executives at the office that I worked at past him, and I got fired for posting a TikTok about Charlie Kirk. And before anyone asks, yes, I am looking up attorneys. I will be looking into what kind of leg I have to stand on as far as like...
You don't. You don't. But please, feel free to waste whatever money you may have on attorneys. That's a great idea. Instead of just going and finding another job.
A wrongful termination suit or anything like that. But honestly, I feel like I feel good. I'll do a full story time soon and probably make a little get ready with me to go pick up my stuff from security tomorrow. But like ultimately, I'm like kind of excited. Maybe it's like my big three all being fire signs that make me really excited when shit like this happens. I'm like, yes, give me a challenge, fuck you. So my new full-time job is gonna be applying for jobs and looking for attorneys and cleaning my house and doing my homework and posting on the internet. You know, the thing that got me fired.
So I got fired from my job today because one of you guys decided to send my videos, my Charlie Kirk videos, to my boss.
Is it just me, or is this guy sounding like he's from boot camp?
Yeah. I don't know who did it, and they won't tell me. They were sent anonymously to my boss.
Anonymously? Anonymously.
And now you guys got me fired. What? Maggot, one of you guys owe me a job now. Not cool.
Haley Curdell, a 911 dispatcher from Nashville, Tennessee. She has been put on unpaid leave due to her social media post. For some reason, Haley thought that this cartoon would be appropriate. This is a person that works in law enforcement. She's a 911 dispatcher. A lot of people on this app were making jokes about Charlie Kirk's assassination on social media. And today, they are waking up, finding out that they have no jobs and they have been fired or laid off. Well, what did you think was going to happen?
People on Twitter were very upset because they were suffering. And instead of attacking these people like they did during the Black Lives Matter riots.
So I throw up my head and praise you again. I know it's not much, nothing else. Sing it one more time. So I throw up my head, praise you again. All that I have is a hallelujah. And I know it's not.
Or beating up cops and spitting at cops or burning down police stations. They did the right thing and they reported these people to their employers. Wouldn't you want to know that you are safe in public and that when you go shopping, there's not someone there wishing you dead or who actively cheers for the death of conservatives? Conservatives won this election, proving how much of a group we are, how big our group is. And they still are willing to put that aside and terrorize us. Have you ever seen anybody go out in a MAGA hat lately? No, because they're terrorized. They are honestly terrorized everywhere.
Zach Hornstein was studying at home Tuesday afternoon instead of in class at Laguna Beach High School. It's the first of his 2-day suspension for harassment, something he says he didn't do. Last Thursday, he was wearing a Make America Great Again hat, he says in honor of Charlie Kirk. A girl pulled his hat off and threw it in the trash. Then he says she started using profanity to describe President Trump.
I made a joke towards them and I said, if you don't like it here, Canada's open borders, feel free to go.
A teacher told administrators he said something different.
They're saying that I told a group of girls to go back to where they came from, which I never said that.
So I'm being asked to leave by the police because of Donald Trump.
Hey, I'm a Donald Trumper. Dude.
You're a Trump fan?
I'm a Meg. Yes,
yeah.
I am.
So I just want
all these coppers you got to deal with are Meg, but they're not political here. They don't want any kind of political.
So those flags over there.
Those are pre-approved.
Those flags over there. Those aren't political. So my question to you guys is: are these rules equally enforced on everybody?
And here's my question to you.
And the only way I can do that is if I enforce it with you.
Or you just go out.
Go out and handcuff. So I'm being threatened with arrest. What law am I breaking? What am I?
Well, we ask you to leave. We ask you to leave.
You're asking me to leave. Am I being evicted from the premises?
You're being evicted from the premises. You want to make a big?
Okay. We're gonna walk up. I'm being evicted from the premises because of Donald Trump. Because we can't wear Donald Trump hats in public, and so now I'm being evicted from the premises.
I'm afraid to wear my merch anywhere without my partner. Last time I did, I told you guys somebody totally was mean to my son at a park. And it said RFK. It didn't even say Trump. So these people were exposed. They were reported to their bosses, and a lot of them lost their jobs. We got to witness a lot of liberal tears, which brings us a lot of sanctity and peace, because we grew tired. We grew tired of having to take it. And we aren't about to go against our values and be violent and rage, okay? That is not what Christ taught us. So doing the right thing and actively using this by some people like me wanting to speak up and be louder, others reporting those who are not safe to the public, to their bosses or universities. So many teachers, you guys, so many teachers were fired.
Wow, imagine being in a government job and celebrating someone, I don't even know what to say. Like, trolls on the internet is one thing, but when you're a public figure, that's wild. It is wild when you work for the government to come out and openly celebrate someone, a political ending of their existence. Like, it is wild. This lady found out. It took less than a day. Most of these people are, it's taken less than a day. That guy at MSNBC, he, what was his name? He found out as well, but like live on the air, he was like, this is the environment you create and you have to live in it. It's like, I can't believe, but this is public school dean. This is a major, this isn't like just some random side teacher. This was someone who influences our children.
Of leftists in this country who may even live around you, again, who believe these types of things, right? Political violence is okay if it goes towards people we disagree with. For one example here today, a chief officer for global learning at the Miami Country Day School was apparently caught in a comment section saying, quote, he died, oh well, he ironically promoted gun usage, karma. Again, this is coming from a chief officer of learning at a school in Florida. So that's why, again, I say it's not just about blue states, right? Florida, this person is teaching and educating children, and that's what he said publicly, and he's far from alone. Now, that said, the good news here is that the guy was indeed fired, or aka resigned from his role here, and it follows the exchange on social media. So in some cases, these people are rightfully getting fired, and good on the institutions for doing so. But, again, pretty deep, pretty widespread here. Another one out of Florida, Kelly Brock Sanchez of Ridgeview Elementary School was apparently suspended after saying this may not be the obituary we were all waking up to, or we were all hoping to wake up to, but it is a close second for me, essentially saying that I wish it was Donald Trump, but if not, Charlie Kirk is the next best thing. Again, teaching your children, elementary children, by the way, She's a bloodthirsty, crazy lunatic. She's celebrating the fact that a father of 2 with kids who are that age or about to be that age are now without their father. Educating children. Yeah. Insane. Here's another one out of Greenville County, I believe, South Carolina. Okay. Same story, right? Placed on administrative leave after celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. Governor Ron DeSantis, in response to this widespread problem, you're just seeing countless cases nationwide. I only showed you 3 just to demonstrate that it's happening, right? Of public educators of your children also publicly cheering for political assassination of people who have children. Saying here that his administration in Florida Department of Education will be announcing investigations into every single teacher who celebrates Charlie Kirk and threatens, govern yourselves accordingly. Now, that should not be something that has to be said. It stands to reason that if you're working as a public school teacher, or if you're working, frankly, in any profession, or you're just a human being, it should not be something that you say, especially say publicly. It shouldn't even be something that you think. But to go out there on record with your name, with your identification, and say proudly, no, I support political assassination in this country. Utterly crazy thing to say, okay? And frankly, if this was done, for instance, in the 1960s in response to the JFK assassination, I really wonder how the system would have responded back then, maybe even much more harshly than that, right? Than just firing you from your job. But nonetheless, quote, we will hold teachers who choose to make disgusting comments about the horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk accountable. Govern yourselves accordingly. And yes, it is indeed FAFO season. Now, I also have to beg the question as to why every Republican governor in this country outside of DeSantis has not all said unanimously the exact same thing. Like, it should be a public memo to everyone. Hey, you're gonna be fired, you're gonna be terminated without benefits. You may even face lawsuits, by the way, because I think that's a legitimate place to go with all of this. It's not okay. And frankly, forget even the red states, why they're not following through, having the Department of Education like formally announce a task force against this. It should be every governor in America. You know why? Because I was told by every Democrat governor yesterday, they felt the exact same way. We're against political violence. It's unacceptable. We don't support this. We don't stand for this. Okay. So Democrat governors, are you going to create punishments for your public employees who say the opposite, right? Because it is 100% a fireable offense. That ought to be the litmus test, by the way, of whether or not these people are serious, right? Will Governor Tim Walz, will Gavin Newsom, will J.B. Pritzker, will any of these clowns go out and publicly say, if you remotely celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk as an employee of my state, you will be fired? I'm going to guess there the answer is no. Because as I tried to point out, I truly believe a lot of the Democrat reactions yesterday were completely and totally insincere. But again, it doesn't stop there. This guy was the VP of the Human Rights Commission in the city of Muncie, Indiana, right? I don't know a lot about Muncie, Indiana, but you would think Indiana, right? Not a lot of liberals there. No, as I said, this is everywhere. This is not a singular issue, right? He reportedly posted this celebrating Charlie Kirk's death and is hoping for even more assassinations. He works for the city government there and specifically is the vice president of the Human Rights Commission. Oh, how ironic. How ironic.
Some were even showing the video to their students. One man in Canada showed it to his students on repeat, and they were, I want to say they were 12. 6th graders? I think they were 6th graders.
Is wrong with these teachers?
Just in the past few days, more than 12 teachers across the country have been put on some type of discipline as a result of comments made.
So I found this in the New York Post, and the headline is, teacher allegedly showed Charlie Kirk assassination video to 10 and 11-year-olds, told students he deserved to be killed. That's why I said at the beginning, what is going on with these teachers? Because while I'd like to act like this is an isolated event, there are so many educators getting fired, and I wonder what it is about teaching that draws unhinged people into that profession. A public school teacher has been suspended after allegedly showing a video of Charlie Kirk's assassination to students as young as 10 in his class, authorities in Canada said. And I told you guys, I saw that video myself. I'm sure a lot of you at home saw that video. That video was traumatic to me, and I am a grown man by several years. Not gonna say how many years, but a grown man for many, many moons. And I am telling you, I felt traumatized after I saw it. I didn't even believe it was real. I talked to several other of my friends that are also full-grown adults that felt the same way. Like, this is not meant for really anybody to see. I regret that I even checked it out. I thought it was going to be one of those videos where the footage you saw after of just everybody running and scattering, I thought that's what it was going to be. I didn't realize that I was going to see it up close and personal that way, the way that I did. I wasn't ready for it, and I couldn't imagine being a teacher and thinking, you know what would be appropriate to show these children? Never in my wildest dreams would I think that that's something that a teacher would do. The teacher also suggested that KIRK deserved to be killed and gave the young students a speech about anti-fascism and transgender issues, according to a report. I don't know how many times we have to go over this, and I wonder if there's any teachers that might be watching this. There is absolutely no reason for you to talk to anybody else's children about not only anti-fascism or fascism in general, unless you're teaching a lesson about fascism and not editorializing, just truly being a teacher and maybe talking about a situation where fascism was actually the thing instead of projecting onto America what America has to be in order for you to feel like you have a point or you're in some way being marginalized or somebody you know is in some way being victimized in a way that's not happening in this country. But there's no reason to talk to children about that. Several students from his class went home and complained to their parents, traumatized at witnessing the on-camera death, which they were forced to witness numerous times over. Tough enough to watch it once, which is all I watched it. But you thought that you should show these children. This is why you're all losing your jobs. People don't want to understand. They want to act like it's about freedom of speech. No, it's because a lot of you are being stupid. Parents subsequently reached out to the school administrators who will be putting him on leave at the start of the school day, September 12th, 2025. The source added, while playing this video repeatedly, he gave a speech to his students regarding anti-fascism, anti-trans, and how Charlie KIRK deserved for this to occur. A letter was sent home on Friday to all students affected by the showing of the video, calling the teacher's alleged behavior extremely troubling and completely disturbing, the Toronto Sun reports. Quote, during class, students were said to have been shown a portion of a violent video in response to questions being asked about a recent tragic event in the United States. Read the letter signed by Corvette Junior Public School Principal Jennifer Koptai. The letter stated that the video was allegedly shown to students in grade 5 and 6, typically aged 10 to 11, by a staff member who was supervising a French immersion class and was not the regular teacher. Okay, well, this has nothing to do with French or French immersion, and this wasn't even their regular teacher. Whatever happened in the days when a substitute teacher would just pop in a movie and read a book while the children watched Finding Nemo, Little Mermaid, Paddington Bear. While an investigation must still be conducted to learn all of the details, the report of the incident is extremely troubling and completely unacceptable. Well, I'll say. The letter continued, we recognize the seriousness of this matter and have taken immediate steps to follow all appropriate policies and procedures, Koptai wrote. The teacher has been relieved of all teaching responsibilities pending the outcome of the investigation and will not be at the school, the letter continued. Assistance is being offered to any children traumatized by the incident, Koptai said. I also want to assure you that the top priority is supporting students. Social work support has been made available to the school, the letter continued. I will be visiting the class along with a member of our social work team to check in with the students and provide support. In short, they're going to try to avoid that lawsuit is what they're going to do. Because I can tell you that there definitely are going to be children that are traumatized by that video to a point where they are going to need some actual therapy. So I don't know what the laws are like in Canada, but I would be expecting that that school district or that school specifically is going to be sued at some point in order to make sure that the parents are able to provide the mental health care that some of these children are going to need, the counseling that some of these children are going to need, and if it's anything like the United States, a little something extra to maybe take the children out for some pizza or whatever it is they do. I don't think they're going to get their full college paid for, but they're definitely going to be able to get some money out of this if it's anything like the United States. Anyway,
I'm 32 years old. I watched that video and screamed at the top of my lungs because it was traumatizing. It was traumatizing. So half the nation was traumatized while the other half of the nation cheered. It was terrifying. I honestly still am recovering from this, as you can tell. It just really strikes emotion with me. So we saw people fired. A couple more days pass and the memorial comes. And everywhere there was a memorial, it was so beautiful and so peaceful and just so filled with love and prayer. And you could see the heart of the people opened and wounded but willing to be. showed community strength. Even though we were broken, we showed up. And yet they still showed up to harass us.
Michael and his family created a memorial along their fence to honor the slain CEO of Turning Point USA. But late Saturday night, vandals lit the display on fire.
When they burnt that fence, that fire could have went into that house and it could have really harmed somebody.
Across the world, people have been setting up memorials for Charlie Kirk. In this video, we are going to be exposing people in America who have been destroying these memorials.
Thank you. Where are you going?
Where are you going? What? You don't want to fuck? You want to blow everything out? Come here. Come on. Take a look. Huh?
You want to throw the flowers?
You want to throw the flag?
Are you happy a man
You're
died?
to wear the Michigan shirt. I'll tell you that much. You want to do that? It's a public park. I don't care. It's a memorial. How dare you? Where you going? Where you going? Yeah. What now? What? You don't want to get your face broadcasted? What?
Yeah, you want to cover your face,
Cover
right?
your face? Yeah. Cover your face. Yeah. Cover it. Come on.
So this person was blowing out candles and throwing flowers. That is what the Democrat Party has come to, destroying flowers and memorials. This happened at the TPUSA headquarters in Arizona. This guy in broad daylight was also destroying the memorial. Some brave men stopped him, and it appears that later on in the video he is arrested.
Now, one thing we don't get to see here, and it's freaking epic, is the old woman, I believe it's the woman in the beige reddish shirt. She gives that guy a real good kick in the butt, and it's quite lovely to watch. Yeah, I was completely mistaken. That woman in blue tries to get him.
Some other people noted that he was dressed as the murderer Tyler Robinson. Why would you do that? This isn't the end of the violence. It seems like this is sparking more violence. An example of this is conservatives being targeted at the University of North Carolina.
Over the past 72 hours, conservatives have been targeted, and it has become extremely aggressive. The Charlie Kirk memorial that we painted on the Spirit Rock was violently defaced and replaced with radical leftist propaganda. Today, one of our members was assaulted while we were tabling on campus. Campus police has not done anything to help, and they are not listening to us when we are telling them that we need help on campus. We are afraid, but we're going to keep standing up, doing what's right, and remaining peaceful.
It is an utter disgrace that the harassment and terrorizing of conservatives is accepted. Being very beautiful and very relevant message on it. And what did the Democrats do?
Because you guys know I'm fully religious too. We know. Well, I do, but Charlie Kirk is definitely not the morals I support or the religion I support. Girl, please. Well, our religion teaches respect. Yeah, love your neighbor. So if you disagree, so this is loving your neighbor. I'm not going to love a man who doesn't even... You don't have to. So you're not loving your neighbor. You're not loving your neighbor. You're right, I'm not judging. It is not my right to judge. But it is also not your right to judge either. Nope, we're here protecting somebody. We're not here judging.
She's like, I am loving my neighbor by being a really mean person. I'm a little bit confused as to why somebody didn't just, I mean, it's just horrible. And I don't know if they purposefully put the colors in the trans flag on top of this rock to make some type of symbol, or if it was just random. But I mean, this is definitely not what it means to love your neighbor.
Can somebody get a lighter? Wow, that was really cute. Thank you. Freedom of speech.
I don't understand how some people can be in the university and still be acting like they are in the first grade. Could have sat there for a long time, and yet now apparently this is what it looks like. So these crazy leftists can't even agree on a cause or on one thing. At first they put trans colors on it, and then somebody goes on top of that with the BLM thing. I mean, they don't even respect each other, and they have no respect for our country. This next clip comes from the Bentonville courthouse in Arkansas.
He lived as he died, promoting violence. Support all you want.
Well, are you?
No, look at this shit. Look at this shit.
I mean, it is just crazy, crazy, crazy that they took someone's life and then people are silently mourning, just praying, and then they are still screaming about how the right is violent. Yet they just killed someone.
They stomped out candles, flowers, kicked things, hurt people, made fun of Charlie's death. At these memorials, in front of students, in front of people, in front of families, they didn't care. Those people, hopefully they all got in trouble, but I know a lot did. Some kicked out of their universities for it. One woman was harassing people who just wanted to memorialize Charlie. She was harassing them and yelling at them.
You would just rest in peace then. This is ultimate. No, I didn't. Yeah, she just hit me in the head. What do you mean? Fuck your homie dead. You would just rest in peace then. Stop arguing. Rest in peace. The end. Leave it alone. Stop being crazy. Human being got shot in front of his kids. Human being got shot and murdered in front of his wife.
And so did 2,000 kids in Gaza. So did 2,000 kids in Gaza. Yeah. So you can hear me loud and clear. For him, Charlie Kirk hated empathy.
You're a very loud, angry person.
No, I'm not. You're stereotyping.
Explain why rest in peace is bad. Explain why murder was good. Why are you mad about that?
Because you live by the gun, you die by the gun.
You lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call me.
And that's exactly what the look he got. Live by the
defend,
what
he
the
died
fuck
by
are you
defend.
bringing up George Floyd?
Live by defend,
That's
died
why,
by defend.
That's exactly why he's fucking dead.
He died
Charlie
in
Kirk,
overdose, yeah.
Charlie Kirk said George Floyd was a scumbag that deserved to die.
He was.
So
Nobody
Charlie
deserves
Kirk
to die.
was a scumbag that
Nobody
deserved
deserves
to
to
die.
die. Catch your breath.
And America isn't fucking great. America fucking sucks.
It should-
I just shot this man dead. Pew pew. You see my core power protein shape
happy
of a
with the
gun?
side I'm on. I'm pretty happy being on this side. She's walking around pointing fake guns at me and saying,
You also just said core power protein.
yeah, you mimicked a gun. You're a psychopath.
I'm a psychopath.
Yes, you are.
And you're a narcissist. Like, you can't.
I said murder bad.
No, that's not all you're saying, though. That's the issue. We all agree that murder's bad.
We all agree with that, but you're making slight comments that just show your blatant racism. Like saying that she was...
You just said that she was statistically more likely to shoot you. You just said that.
What weapon do I have? That the left side would kill more people than the right side, as if political violence... The guy that shot...
Why are you being so
Why are you
hateful?
so hateful? Why are you so hateful? Why are you so hateful? Yeah.
Hey, can somebody tell her to back
Can
up,
you
please?
not
She's
put the
being-
camera in my face?
I'm sitting here. You walked up to me.
Okay, well,
I don't want this. I said rest in peace.
And I can do
Just
this
leave it
too.
alone. Please don't come after
Ma'am,
me.
you've been
I want to be left alone.
I'm not emotional, ma'am. Don't tell me what I am and what I'm not. You can get out of my face, because I could tell you what you are, but you won't like it.
She was expelled. Another man was making fun of Charlie Kirk and doing the motions of like what happened.
Charlie Kirk got hit in the neck.
Oh my God. My name is
Oh, buddy. You're gonna get expelled, dude.
He was also expelled.
Governor Greg Abbott posted about the student's removal after a video of the student appearing to mock Charlie Kirk's assassination went viral. Abbott said on social media the conduct is not accepted and it, quote, must have consequences, end quote. Texas State University says they identified the person in the video and they are no longer a student at the university. This is just the most recent in a string of similar events. A Texas Tech student was arrested and expelled from the university after slapping the lid of another person's hat during an argument.
Sunday came around and I was so blessed to be part of the experience, so grateful. I couldn't believe that I was lucky enough to be there. I didn't make it into the Cardinals arena, but I did make it into the hockey arena. So we got to watch it on a big screen. And the way everyone connected, all that we walked in and you immediately hear Christian music. There is a Christian band singing. You hear them even outside. They have it on big screens, on a big van. And everyone in the building is singing Christian songs. There's just something about walking into a room full of people with that strong of a faith. You feel comfort. You don't feel afraid. I'll follow you. Where do you think? And that's something my daughter and I talked about, because when we were outside, we were so surrounded by people, but we didn't feel afraid. We felt very secure, which is very unusual for us because we are very empathic and we pick up on people's emotions quickly. It felt very safe and very structured, and you could tell these people just wanted to be here for Charlie. Every speech made impacted me. Every word about Charlie and who he was and how he lived his life inspired me more to follow Christ. This channel isn't going to be a political channel, but I'm always going to be here to share my opinion, my life, and the things that I'm going through a positive aspect of Christianity. And yes, I'm a Christian witch, but I still truly believe for all of saying, damn it. Christianity, I don't remember, darn it. While I try to gather my thoughts, let's go over what happened to everyone else on a Sunday when they arrived at their churches.
Everything's about the vote. Everything's about marching. Everything's about protesting. And they see the church through that lane. And that is not its calling.
No, that's corrupt.
Yes.
And corrupting.
Yes. And it's corrupted the black community.
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be assassinated. But I'm overwhelmed seeing the flags of the United States of America at half-staff calling this nation to honor and venerate a man who was an unapologetic racist and spent all of his life sowing seeds of division and hate into this land. Hearing people with selective rage who were mad about Charlie Kirk but didn't give a damn about Melissa Hortman and her husband when they were shot down in their home tell me I ought to have compassion for the death of a man who had no respect for my own life. I am sorry, but there's nowhere in Bible where we are taught to honor evil. And how you die does not redeem how you lived. You do not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life. I can abhor the violence that took your life, but I don't have to celebrate how you chose to live.
Nah, he's dead wrong. Talking about selective outrage, but you are not at all. He said they didn't care about this, but now they care about this. You clearly do not care about this. You just disproved every point you tried to make. And this, like, I'm not one to judge and say, here's a good pastor preaching the word, and here's one not preaching the word. But this is a very clear example of a pastor who is not preaching the word in this clip right here.
No, that's facts. That's kind of evil what he just said.
That's insane. You sat there and got a whole crowd to clap and celebrate death because y'all did not agree with the man, and then turn around and try to preach the gospel. Do you think that, because that is blasphemous, because I've heard plenty of pastors, you know, who probably don't agree with Charlie Kirk, but they still got up there and said, no, dead ass, what happened to Charlie Kirk is dead wrong, and that's that on that. But oh my gosh, he was horrible, he was a horrible man, and he was evil, and I don't have to feel bad about it. So actually, you're not saying that it's wrong that he's dead. That second part is what you said. What he did is he dressed up as shit. That's what that's called.
No, this is a woke response. This is a very woke response. Beyond woke. These people that think that Charlie is some type of evil guy, I think that's some type of form of, I mean,
you're brainwashed.
I'm just confused, like, what Charlie did to them. To
like, I wouldn't know what he said or anything, like, to make them
feel like he didn't preach the vision, he didn't preach, he didn't do none of these things that they're saying that he did. He would just simply debate and argue his point, and he would make people look stupid because their points were stupid, and they're upset about that.
Because you're so deep inside this box that you think that you're in a box. And it's just, man, it's crazy to me, guys. We're going to go to the next pastor, man. It's just crazy to me, guys. And people in there cheering his on. And
hey, you could go up. I got the statements, all the statements they said that was racist. And where it clarified. Go up. I sent you. Go up.
That's the point that Byron was arguing. He was not saying they were better off as slaves. He was saying they were trending in a higher direction after slavery during Jim Crow, and that the culture shift is what caused black people to suffer, not black people themselves. That's the point he was making.
That is the point he was making.
No, I know. I'm saying this.
No, I see what you're saying. But also, this proves if you take a headline.
I could do this and easily go through each one easily.
All you gotta do is go through the whole clip. But anyway,
the whole context.
That's what they do. They take a headline.
They take it out of context.
And that's why I'm upset with my people for pushing this in the house of the Lord.
It's not just your people. It's not just your.
And the pastor.
It's the left. It's the left.
If we see,
it's the schools in the left. Harvard, Yale.
I know. We
Cal
talking about
Berkeley.
pastors right now. I won't see another demographic of pastors doing this shit. If you can pull it up, if y'all can pull it up, please send it to me personally on Instagram. Because I want to see it.
But what that guy said, I just don't see any other. I've never seen another pastor who would say that.
Us in here know that these are pastors that was recorded. I hate to call this shit a mental illness. I would hate to.
It's brainwashed, bro. It's brainwashed.
I would really hate to. Here's another pastor, guys.
Get your theology together, because the sad thing is we live in a nation where twisted, toxic theology is poisoning the politics of this nation. Have you thought about the fact that this week in Utah, a white Christian got killed by white Christians? And then the next day, HBCUs were under threat. Now, how did we get in it? That's called white-on-white crime. You can't
chill, bro. Chill, bro.
If the roles were reversed.
No, bro. Chill.
If the roles were reversed. Imagine a white pastor get up there and say, "Oh, that's black-on-black crime." Boy.
You deserve to die.
Nah, but these people are not. These pastors, some of these pastors got this. Like this dude and the last dude, guys.
Let him keep going.
My pastor would never, ever, ever, ever in a million bajillion years preach anything like this. This is insane.
But also, I hate to bring it up, and I might be a coon a lot for bringing it up. A lot of other races don't go to all black churches, but all races.
Oh, that's called white-on-white crime. You came the wrong Sunday if you thought you. No, I'm sorry. I see y'all are real sophisticated.
We're not turning it off.
I'm getting mad.
We're watching him.
You came the wrong Sunday if you thought you. I'm sorry. I see y'all are real sophisticated and you look really good. I hope they warned you about me, okay? Because on this Sunday, we gonna keep it 100. On this Sunday, we gonna tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And so here they are. Here they are. In Utah. It's more of us in church than in Utah. We ain't got nothing to do with what they just did. A white Christian gets killed, murdered, not assassinated. We're gonna tell the whole truth today. Martin King got assassinated. Malcolm X got assassinated. Medgar X got assassinated. Don't compare Kirk to King. Ain't no such comparison now. Let me hasten to say, I'm anti-political violence. Kirk should still be alive.
Very general statement. Everybody is, I'm pretty sure, besides the transvestites. Stop saying that, brother.
Anti-political violence. Kirk should still be alive. I don't agree with the time with anything Kirk said. What Kirk said was dangerous. What Kirk said was racist, rooted in white supremacy, nasty, and hate-filled. But he still should be alive. He still should be playing with his kids. He still should be experiencing the love with his wife. He still should be experiencing life as he saw it. I don't want anybody, please hear me well, anybody to be victimized by political violence, but I'm gonna keep it above. Because one of the things that gets me, and we got some politicians in here, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna come for you if you ever say this. If you ever say, America, we better than this. You lying. You lying. We ain't better than this. America was born in political violence. America committed political violence during the slave trade. America committed political violence when black bodies hung as strange fruit on southern trees. America committed political violence against the Irish, against the Italians before they became white. America committed political violence when America passed Jim and Jane Crow laws. What do you think political violence was? Political violence when they bombed and massacred Black Wall Street, when they massacred Rosewood, when they massacred whites and blacks in Wilmington, North Carolina. What do you think political violence is? Martin being killed, that's political violence. John Kennedy being killed, political violence. Robert Kennedy being killed, political violence. And you gonna say we better than this? No, you can't fix what you won't face until you look in the mirror and say this is a violent country. It has done violence to too many people. We will never get our act together. It's time to repent, because if my people called by my name humble themselves themselves and pray. Turn from their wicked ways. Then will I hear from heaven, forgive their sins, and heal the land. So now we better than this. No, we ain't. We ain't better than this. We ain't better than this. But to get better, you got to acknowledge what's wrong.
So are we going to acknowledge that 6% of the population, black men, are responsible for 56% of every murder committed, and 97% of those murders, 97% of those murders are against other black people? Are you going to admit that? You're talking about violence, violence, you heard violence. I bet in the city you are preaching this, they are outside being violent as you speak, and you will never ever say nothing about that. You will never speak on that. Come on, bro. Let's keep it real. No, you want to keep it real, nigga?
So Blue Eyes here wanted to see a white priest preaching the same thing, and I'm sure there's plenty more. I know I came across a lesbian priest who was doing the same thing, but here you go, Blue Eyes. I found a white Richard.
Let's keep it real then.
As the last several days, he was described as someone who died not only defending conservative political principles, but also the Bible and Christian values. This man was practically sainted by evangelical Christians within a matter of hours after he died. People that I don't typically see engage in politics on social media. They were getting in on the discussion and lamenting his death and speaking of KIRK as if he was a martyr for the Christian faith. And it is at this point, my friends, that all of this hullabaloo about this young man did gain my full and undivided attention. As the last several days have rolled on, more and more documentation has emerged about the vile and the despicable things that this man has championed and said over the years. For instance, he has often said that women should be submissive to their husbands, and that feminism is a corrosive influence on our civilization. On the subject of race, he is on the record saying that Martin Luther King Jr. was, quote, an awful man, and, quote, not a good person.
Look, I am sick and tired of Martin Luther King Jr. being held up as if he was a saint. Okay, we have a day to recognize a man who was a rapist. Okay, there are actual tapes of him teaching other men how to harm young women and how to, oh gosh, I don't even want to talk about it. If you really want to know the truth about MLK, it's very simple to do. Google is available to everyone, and I would advise you do it if you really think MLK is still a good man.
Y'all, the Klan doesn't wear hoods anymore. They walk around in suits and ties, t-shirts and trucker hats. Friends, let me state today in no uncertain terms, Charlie KIRK represents everything that is corrupt and wrong with Christianity in America. He represents the bankrupt and nihilistic and supremacist values that keep finding a home in our country. He represents just how far we have been pulled in our culture toward normalizing extremism and violence. He fought for that normalization. And friends, be not mistaken this morning. He has now wasted his life, and he has been killed by the gun violence that he callously defended and maliciously shrugged his shoulders at. He has been killed by the hatred that he has fomented in the hearts and minds of millions of young people across our country. But let us remember that we cannot condemn this act of violence against KIRK without simultaneously condemning every bit of violence that KIRK sowed back into the world. Lastly, friends, and in light of our third and final scripture reading, let us recall those words I highlighted at the beginning of this sermon. Let us take them as a caution. If we spend our lives advocating for hatred, we can surely say, Lord, Lord, but Christ will surely say back, I never knew you. If we fail to care for our neighbor, we can say, Lord, Lord, but Christ will say, I did not know you. If we seek to villainize and do people harm, if we take the name of God in vain by attaching it to our hatred, we can cry out, Lord, Lord, until we're blue in the face or until the cows come home, but Christ will most certainly say back to us, I never knew you. This morning, y'all, my disappointment and my frustration lies in the fact that I see the ways that we all try in our own ways here at this church to show the world a different type of Christianity, one that is certainly less harmful and is a lot more loving. And it is then disappointing and frustrating when people lack the moral clarity to see the wolf dressed in sheep's clothing. And if I have to say anything to Charlie KIRK, may you rest in peace. But Brother Charlie, you've given me a lot of reasons to wonder if Jesus even knows who you are. Amen. Amen.
I lost my train of thought. So let's talk more about the exposure, because we were given the craziest exposure of evil the next week. Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, and a few other channels put it in their own hands for some reason to start blaming one group of people for the death of Charlie Kirk and for everything else that goes wrong on the planet for some reason. That's right, Israel, the Jews. They proceeded to blame the Jews in Israel. And so many blindly followed. It was honestly terrifying to realize how many people on the right have brain rot. Now, brain rot for adults is a little bit different for kids because kids, they get lost in the brain rot and it's kind of all they have. For adults, this brain rot appears like conspiracies, right, that you can trace to the real world, and they drag it into the real world and they make it their life instead of a secondary life. So here's reality. Okay, our reality, where every day we're with our families, we're making food, we're going to the grocery store, we're going to church. That's the first reality, the most important, most sacred reality that we have to stay grounded and rooted in to find success in life and to find peace in life and to find God in life. This secondary reality, where a lot of conspiracies lay, a lot of ghosts lay, where I like to dive into things on my other channel that are not based in reality. That world, if you get lost in that world, if you get stuck in the muck of that reality and you bring it into your first reality and they start to blend, you are now tainting your first reality with things that we have yet to prove are real and do not affect our daily lives. That is where it becomes dangerous, because the devil wants you lost in that type of information. The devil wants you lost in the esoteric evil side of magic, because that's where you become twisted and lost and you can't tell the difference between good and bad anymore, what's real and what's not real. I hope this sounds right, because now I feel like I'm not making sense. But yes, when we dive into rabbit holes, it's so very important to remember that that is not reality. That is the underlying reality of our real reality. And when we drag it out, we do cause a mess. We do cause a muck. That's why when I was young, I used to literally say, like, if I told people what I really thought, they would compare me to a homeless man outside yelling on the street corner about the end of the world. And I started to realize how to control that part of my brain when I realized this secondary reality does not affect my current reality. So hopefully that helps some of you guys in the conspiracy world if you've been lost lately.
Another thing I want to share is when this all happened, it actually started really, really quickly after he passed, like within days. So by the Sunday of the memorial, I was already seeing stuff, and I told myself, like, I cannot get involved with that side of the internet. That is too much for me right now, and it's also very wrong to do when it comes to my spiritual beliefs. It's not okay to do that. And that same day, I heard Erica Kirk talk about how important Sundays were to Charlie. And God I took that as God telling me, Sundays are the day to tune everything out from the other reality. Sundays are the day to tune into my actual present reality and pray and be grateful and pull out a Bible. And if things are still heavy and they still feel like they're in my current reality, then I can act on them. But if not, and it goes away, then it means it's not something that I need to be constantly thinking about or worrying about. And I really think that that is great advice, to take Sundays for your primary reality and to be grateful and thankful and present.
But yeah, we cannot be doing this. The case is not closed yet. And now Tyler Robinson's case may be thrown out because of what they're doing. They're causing enough disprovement, or what is it called? I'll put it here. I forgot what it's called. They're causing this to happen, and now the defense attorneys are able to get Tyler Robinson off his charges. It's looking like And Turning Point USA is extremely worried that the man who shot Charlie Kirk is not going to be charged now. And I learned something extremely important about Candace, and I don't want to talk about it in this video, but we are going to get into it in my other channel. We definitely will be, because this conspiracy is getting out of hand. Candace Owens is disgusting. She disgusts me, her husband disgusts me, and I'm over it. Candace Owens married into a Rothschild blood family. She did. Look into it, and guess what? He's working with Mahmoud. What is his name? Mahmoud? I don't know. That college student who was supposed to be deported. They're working together now. Why? Why is she working with Islam? Why is she working with the Brotherhood of Islam? I don't understand how no one else doesn't see this. They're too distracted by the secondary reality. Be grounded, be rooted in the real reality, you guys. You have to. Yes, sorry, that is the big part that really just revels to me. Like, I was like so shocked by the amount of exposure in our own group and the amount of hate, and understanding why, you know what, the conservatives are called Nazis. Because you guys say the Jews, Israel, and it's so disgusting. When there's 15 million Jews on the whole planet, and they have one small piece of land the size of New Jersey, and all you want to see is them stomped out. For what? For why? Because of a secondary reality that does not affect your real priority reality that God gave you to understand the world, to understand yourself, and to actually give other people your light. Sorry, that one really bothers me because I've been diving into conspiracies for so long. I know how to do it healthy, and what is happening right now is not healthy. It's frightening, and it freaks me out how far gone so many of you are. I pray for you, and I hope you see the light. I pray you see that that secondary reality does not actually affect your primary reality, and you need to focus on your primary reality to actually grow with God. Let's talk about the positive effects now, because that was a lot. Now, the positive effects that we have seen through the KIRK effect, they are endless. They are very endless. And I will start with myself and my personal life. For me, Charlie Kirk's videos were some of the first I had that kind of made me listen a little more. You know, I never hated conservatives, but I didn't trust them. I never trusted Republicans. I was taught not to trust Republicans. Because I was taught not to trust Republicans, that taught me not to trust Democrats. I've always been independent because I know either side can be manipulated. I lost my train of thought again. Right. Listening to Republicans, Charlie Kirk. I started to listen more. And I saw how he listened, and he was kind, and he really did use those spiritual teachings and morals of Christians to interact with people. Because a lot of people don't have the patience for that. Like 95% of the world does not have the patience for that. So watching him do it was quite amazing, and I never subscribed to him, but I did watch what would come up, or when my partner would show me stuff. But seeing how inspiring he was to others, and seeing just how accepting he was to everyone, and he just wanted what was best for everyone, it truly did make me feel like, wow, he lived like I did, as a lighthouse. Okay, now when I say a lighthouse, I believe when you live as a lighthouse, you don't live like how they call Christians like preachers and like always trying to teach people something, right? I believe in order to truly teach something to others, what you have to do is live your life through the intentions you would every day, as if no one was watching but God. And when you do that, God gives you opportunities through meeting people, through showing people. Maybe you're at the store and you react in a situation with your child in a way that someone else wouldn't have, but they are inspired by that. Or maybe you meet someone on the street and you say hello and you give them a smile and you pick up their stuff and it changes their day and it inspires them to just be nicer. There's all these little things. There's a song from the Prince of Egypt, and it's the best way to describe what I mean when I say live like a lighthouse, even though it's called, I think it's called the Grand Design or a single thread in the tapestry. But it's about how we are all a single thread in God's tapestry. And we can never know our intent for life and for the future and how we will influence anything. But God already has a plan, and exactly where you're meant to be makes the image perfect, beautiful, and resemble the most amazing grand design that none of us could ever imagine, because none of us are as grand as God. And I think that that is so much more inspiring to me, to live my life every day as a Christian who inspires others, just like Charlie did. And yes, he actively went and talked to people, and like I can do that too, and I see other people do it. And it's really that's calls to you, right? What you're called to do when you long for something deeply in your soul. God is saying, do it, even when it feels scary, even when you don't know what's next, even when there's a threat to all of us. Like there was just a few weeks ago when they wanted conservatives to be silenced. We will not, because we are called for more through Christ. And we understand that we have a purpose with Christ. And maybe our purpose isn't as grand as Moses's. And maybe it's not as insane as Lazarus. But each has so much intent and purpose. And when you follow your heart and you follow those faith and the morals, you are given so many opportunities to be good. And Charlie inspired that more in me. He instilled it stronger in me. He makes me feel like doing this channel and speaking to everyone, I'm on the right path, and I'm so grateful for that. And not only that, he inspired my partner to want to go to church. And I've never ever in a million years expected us to go back to church. And I asked a few years ago, thought maybe we should, and even now I'm still not sure if I want to. I'm more of a pick up your Bible and head to the forest type of girl. But maybe it would be nice for our family, and we are going to try it. We're going to go return to a Catholic church and see how it goes. And that is such a huge blessing in my life too, to know that that's something he was inspired to do. And he's inspired every day now to be a better man because of Charlie Kirk. My daughter even is inspired. And it's just so amazing to see how many people are willing to do better and to do more when they see such a great man live such a great life in only 31 beautiful years. I'm still struggling with this all. It's beautiful, though. It's tears of beauty. An amazing, amazing life. And that's why I think he should be a saint, a patron saint. Like, I just can't imagine him not watching over our nation. He loved America so much. He loved our great nation and our forefathers, our founding fathers. The fact that our Constitution was made with Christ, which is so beautiful. It's just so awesome to see so many inspired. Now, what I want to do last is I want to add a few channels here from smaller accounts that are talking about MAGA and that are talking about politics. And I want to support them. I want you guys to support them. I want you to go subscribe to them so that you can watch what they cover while I'm diving into Spooky Town. I need a break from this all. This was such an overwhelming month. August was rough.
I think borders are pointless and borders should be erased. So
You caught me off guard with that one.
I went to an anti-ICE protest today in New York City, and I saw signs like "You're Next" and "F ICE." I walked up to those people and talked to them to see what they really want. Welcome back to the Nate Friedman Show.
I'm independent. Yeah. Can I ask you guys about your sign? Can you just tell me about it?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
What about it?
Anything, just why you, like, what's the message in it? Yeah.
Basically, the message is fuck ICE because they're fucking abhorrent and are literally destroying families and people's lives. And then also stop the U.S. war machine, which is more just about just all the imperialism, all the countries that we've, wreaked havoc upon, which is, part of the problem too is like people are like, oh, why do people come here? It's because the U.S. has put their hand in so many countries and dismantled their governments and caused instability, and then we are treating them like this when they try to find safety or new opportunities.
Yeah. Do you think that we should like get rid of ICE, like the organization?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would like replace it with, or do you think that there's no need for it?
No need. I think borders are pointless, and borders should be erased. That's not how we're meant to be in this world.
Do you see that like for across the world and not just the U.S.?
I do, but I mean, also, I think every people's, and that goes back to a whole other problem too. We're on stolen land right now, so we're on stolen land right now. So all of the, control of the land should go back to the indigenous people of that land, and they should be the ones who are deciding who comes, who goes, what needs to be done.
And what do you think about what's happening in LA right now?
I think when people are pushed and pushed past the point of what's okay, they're going to fight back. And I think that's the same thing that's happening in Palestine right now too. I mean, it's very different, but in Palestine, there's people who are fighting back against their oppression. And I think that we're seeing the beginnings of that too. We're seeing, people being disappeared and kidnapped, and you see people in the community fighting back for those people.
Do you want to see what's happening in LA to happen in New York City as well?
It's not that I want to see that. I actually don't believe in necessarily violence. I really pray for no violence. But what I do think is true, and I also have a different definition of what violence is. I don't think property destruction is violence. I think it's a statement. Especially when people are being killed and kidnapped and starved and pulled away from their families and put in fucking horrible places to be held for long periods of time, inhumane conditions. To me, property damage is not violence. It's property.
It's only like a natural response.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think we need to be, I'm very careful about even calling that violence, but I'm even talking about something that's further than that. If it continues on, it wouldn't be on the offense. It would be on the defense, because I think that when people are pushed, they're going to fight back. Yeah. And I think everyone has the right to do that.
Yeah. What do you think about Trump's National Guard that he's bringing in?
I mean, I think Trump wants to be able to instate martial law. So I think he actually wants a lot of this because he wants to be able to have martial law. And I think
he wants control over the whole country, every aspect of it.
And during martial law, there's no elections held. There's a lot of stuff that would really benefit him.
Third and fourth term and so
exactly.
On, yeah.
So I think I think that's also why, I forget the word he was using, but he was calling the protesters in LA, insurrection, something. Yeah. He was using some kind of word. Yeah. And because that is one of the things that needs to be present for martial law to be able to be instated. So he's already laying the groundwork to be exactly, these people are doing this thing that, allows me, the laws around it are very vague though.
Totally.
So.
And I was a little bit late to this, who's speaking right now? Is it
I actually didn't hear them introduce themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
much.
Yeah,
no problem.
My name's Nate. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Can I interview you about your sign? I'm a independent journalist. Can you tell me, so what does it say?
It says respect my existence or respect my resistance.
Okay.
So either I'm respected in this country alongside with my people, or we're going to fight back and we're going to witness conflict.
Yeah. And how do you guys want to fight back?
I believe that we contribute to the economy. We pay taxes. Just because our parents came to cross borders for a better future, I believe that this is the place that we have known as home for years, and we have each and every right to migrate just alongside other people.
Yeah. What do you say to those people that say well, you can migrate, just be here legally? What do you say to those people?
I feel like that is very controversial, I want to say, also very unjust and unfair, because if things were so easy, it's actually easier said than done. And if that were the case, I feel like each and every one would be here the right way. Unfortunately, that's not the way things are.
It's too difficult to come here.
Exactly.
They need to make the process easier to come here legally, was what you say?
Yes.
Yeah. So in the meantime, while it is very difficult, you would say that we should get rid of the borders. What would be your solution to what's happening right now?
I would say no borders, no walls, stop the deportations, stop separating families, because I feel that children shouldn't have to witness the fact that they should be allowed back at home and not see their parents there coming back from school.
No borders, yeah. And would you say that for the world or just for the U.S.?
I would say for the world.
For the world?
Yes.
Yeah.
So definitely, I set up New York, I set up our communities, and also Free Palestine.
Yeah. I can't. And Free Palestine, just sneak it in there. No borders in the whole world. That's gonna work. Let's keep going.
And Mr. President, the next time you have something to say about me, say it to my face. Deport all. I repeat, deport all.
Welcome to the Schumer shutdown. We call it the Schumer siesta, right? It's the Schumer siesta. He put the government on siesta, crying Chuck. And El Hakimo Jefe Jeffries, we used to call him Dollar Store Obama. They put the government on siesta to give Your healthcare, we're not going to let it happen. I looked at both of them. I said, we're not going to let it happen. It's no bueno. I said, it's no bueno. They begged me. They said, but senor, por favor, please give healthcare. I said, we're not going to do it. We're never going to do it. It's not going to happen. And they're also very upset about our big, beautiful sombreros. You look at them. These are the greatest sombreros the world has ever seen. We really have the best sombreros, and everybody wants one except Crying Chuck and El Hakimo Jefe Jeffries. They don't want one, but they're going to wear one when all is said and done. We're going to end the siesta. We're going to reopen the government, and we will not give in to the demands of Chuck and El Jefe. We're not going to do that. Thank you. God bless you. Dio lo bendiga, and God bless America. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Schumer siesta and Schumer shutdown are trending. And I'm here to show you the memes and the reasons why. Brokeback sombrero.
Now, I know the leader is going to show a poll that says that Democrats will be blamed for the shutdown. There are many more polls that show Republicans are blamed. The question in that poll is biased. Biased. In the New York Times, but it's biased. If you turn the That's true. I don't always believe the New York Times. You can be sure of that. Neither do you.
He just said the New York Times is biased in favor of the Republicans. Come on, and the room erupted with laughter.
I am not even Mexican. I don't know why President Trump keeps saying that. He needs to say it to my face, Holmes. And while we're at it, I'm getting really tired of all that dollar store Obama. It's getting old, homie. My name is not Dollar Store Obama, okay? Órale! Arriba! Arriba!
Schumer siesta and Schumer sombrero and Hakeem Jeffries sombrero memes all started when President Trump looks like he truthed this video.
No way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke votes. So we need new voters. And if we give all these free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of, at least for a while until they realize they hate us too.
This obviously is not real. And instead of just laughing and saying this for the joke that it was, they decided to melt down. And then President Trump did it again.
Bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
Are you not entertained? No, not this one. Oh, that's great too.
You asked me this morning about sombreros and memes and why Hakeem Jeffries is all alarmed by that. But look, these are games. These are sideshows. People are getting caught up in battles over social media memes. We've got to keep this is not a game. We've got to keep the government open for the people. I don't know why this is so complicated. And to my friend Hakeem, who I was asked about, man, just ignore it. I mean, Gavin Newsom was trolling me last night. He painted me like a minion. He painted me yellow with big glasses and overalls. And I thought it was hilarious. You don't respond to it. For all my friends, R's and D's, don't respond to it. Get to work, do the people's business.
Exactly, because when you do respond to it, it just sparks even more memes. Okay, this is kind of funny. This is what happens when you let a meme get under your skin and you make a big deal about it. It just starts a cascade of even more of them.
Well, this is all caused by the Democrats. They asked us to do something that's totally unreasonable. They never change. They want to give money away to people that entered our country. They want to give them massive federal money.
About people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera, but about their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal.
And so we took out, and here's what they want us to put back in. We found $500,000 of American taxpayer money for electric buses in Rwanda. We found $3.6 million for pastry cooking classes and dance focus groups for male in Haiti. I kid you not. I'm not making this up. It was in the budget under President Biden. We took it out. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez says we're going to shut down government until you put it back in. I'll just read you a few more that we took out. They are demanding we put back in. $6 million for media organizations for the Palestinians. $833,000 for people in Nepal. $300,000 for a pride parade in Lesotho. $882,000 for social media and mentorship in Serbia. $4.2 million. We took it out. The Congresswoman and the socialist wing of their party says we got to put that back in for them open government. $4.2 million from and intersex people in the Western Balkans and Uganda. I could spend the rest of the afternoon here. We took all that out. It upset Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. It upset the socialist wing of her party. And now that wing of her party and the Congresswoman are threatening all other Democrats and saying, you've got to shut that government down until we get what we want. And part of what they want is to add this kind of stuff back into the bill. And that's what this fight is all about.
When Congress decides to turn off the lights to shut the government down, it shifts the authority to the executive branch. That's how the process works. The person who has decided to put the White House in that situation is Chuck Schumer, who leads the Democrats, the 44 who keep voting to keep the government from opening up. They're voting to shut it down. So what happens in that situation? Whoever is the president, whoever is sitting in the White House, and their staffs at the Office of Management and Budget are given an unenviable task. It's a regretful situation. They have to then determine, since the spigots have been effectively turned off and there's no more money coming in, they have to then prioritize, triage effectively, federal spending. They have to look at all of that and say, you know, which things are deemed essential and which are non-essential, which priorities, policies, and personnel must be kept to keep the government operating, and which are less of a priority. So whomever is sitting in the White House gets to then apply their lenses of review. We happen to have a Republican, a conservative administration. We're very grateful for that. We're limited government conservatives. We think the government's too big. We think the federal government is too big. It does too many things, and it does almost nothing well. And so it serves the taxpayers to send less of their hard-earned money to Washington and keep more in their pockets. That's what we're advancing through the One Big Beautiful Bill and all the legislative priorities that we achieve. But see, sometimes Democrats, not sometimes, all the time, Democrats don't agree with that because they love big government. I mean, listen to them. They want the government to control every aspect of your lives, and they need all of your hard-earned dollars to do that. In fact, they'd like to take them all. We believe the opposite. So here's this situation. Here's the president, the current occupant of the White House, that's been given this opportunity by Chuck Schumer, and he's a limited government conservative. He's looking at that and saying, gee, you know, this is inefficient, this is ineffective. And we'd never get Democrat votes to limit that because they never vote to limit government, ever. It's against their religion. But he has that opportunity now to say, this is a program that would serve the American people if it were not funded, because government would be more efficient and effective. And that serves everyone. So they're going to make those decisions. Now, are they taking great pleasure in that? No. Is he trolling the Democrats? Yes. I mean, yes, because that's what President Trump does, and people are having fun with this. But at the end of the day, the decisions are tough ones. And I've met with him. I talked yesterday at length with Russ Vought, who's the director of the Office of Management and Budget. Russ takes no pleasure in this. Russ wants to see a smaller, more efficient, more lean, effective federal government as we do, but he doesn't want people to lose jobs. He doesn't want to do that, but he has, that's his responsibility. So he's very carefully, methodically, very deliberately looking through that to see which decisions can be made in the best interest of the American people. That's his obligation, and that's his real desire. The president takes no pleasure in this, but if Chuck Schumer is going to give Donald Trump the opportunity to determine what the priorities are, he's going to exercise that opportunity, and that's where we are.
And the Democrats are like, you just hate healthcare. We never did this for illegal immigrants. This is for Americans. You're trying to get Americans to stop. And then they voted and shut down the government, and then a lot of them are getting fired, and it's great. So anywho, no one cares. So this is what J.D. Vance says on Fox News, because I'm going to catch you up to speed, but you have to see the El Jefe memes are absolutely cinema, all right? You don't understand. They are going to meme Vance to the presidency. This man, JD, 48, you're not ready. This is going to be the best video on my entire channel. Subscribe. Also, just letting you know in advance, I am going to be taking a vacation for like a week. Videos will still come out. They just won't be as frequent for like a week. I'm just giving you the update, but this, I had to do it. I had to do it.
This is a Democrat talking point. They say we're not actually trying to give health care benefits to illegal aliens, and here's why it's not true. There are two Biden-era programs that explicitly gave the taxpayer health care money to illegal aliens that we turned off when President Trump took over in January. Program number one is...
First of all, I do not want my taxes going to illegal immigrants because their taxes are not going to me. Okay, I just want to make this very clear. Very clear. I give a hell of a lot of money to taxes, and I just don't want that going to illegal people that invaded our nation. It's that simple. It's that simple.
There's a lot of emergency health care at hospitals that are provided to illegal aliens. That was funded by the federal government. We turned off that funding because, of course, we want American citizens to benefit from those hospital services, not to be taxed, and then to have those hospital services go to illegal aliens. The second of which is the Biden administration gave mass parole to millions upon millions of illegal aliens, and then they simultaneously made those parolees eligible for health care benefits funded by taxpayers. In the One Big Beautiful Bill, President Trump and congressional Republicans turned off that money to health care funding for illegal aliens. The Democrats want to turn it back on. And in their initial proposal, the first thing that they put out to reopen the government, they actually turned that money for health care benefits for illegal aliens back on. So it's not something that we made up. It's not a talking point. It is in the text of the bill that they initially gave to us to reopen the government. It's preposterous for them to run away from it now. But look, let's set that all to the side. Let's open up the government. Let's negotiate on all of these health care policy issues. Obviously, we're not going to support health care benefits for illegal aliens, but we will work with them to lower health care costs for American citizens if they're willing to do so.
So essentially, this is the massive Democrat talking point. They're not actually doing it for the illegals. They're doing it for the citizens. And the Republicans are trying to take your health care. That's their scam line that they keep running. JDV 48 pops in. He absolutely cooks. He spits straight facts. Nothing but straight facts from JDV 48. And now, I'm going to show you something absolutely diabolical. They can't answer basic questions. They can't. So this is Hakeem Jeffries. He is the guy basically pushing this. Him and Chuck Schumer are the two Democrats pushing this shit. And he went on to CNN. He can't answer basic CNN questions because he's lying.
Donald Trump blessed it as well. So let me ask you about a provision that the Republicans are talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about, and Democrats want to talk about, extending the Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of 2025. But they talk about the provisions, and it's right here, subtitle E, and this has to do with the repeal of health care subtitle changes, and specifically what it is. How they characterize it is, you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants.
That's how they characterize it.
I understand that's not really an accurate depiction, but what...
Right, so that's what everyone keeps saying. That's not true. They're just lying.
It does do is...
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie. It's a lie. It's not for the illegals.
But what you support does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants and people who don't have health insurance. And also there is this provision, and it's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera,
which are not Americans and not even legal immigrants.
About their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal. Why even include that in a bill knowing that they're going to seize right upon that and use that as a message? I understand that.
And there is no response, because realistically there is no response, because they're just lying. They're lying. The Republicans are lying. It's not about illegals. And they're like, yeah, but don't illegals now get money because of this? Yes, but it's not about the illegals. It's about the American citizens. So JDV 48 has been absolutely cooking. So this is Sheldon Winehouse. Healthcare for illegal aliens is the new immigrants are eating the cats and dogs in Springfield. The Republican playbook is simple. Make up a baseless lie, repeat it every chance you get, hope and pray everyone blames Democrats for the crisis you created. This is a senator, by the way. Straight lying. Straight lying. A senator saying that the healthcare for illegal aliens is a joke. And then JDV 48 releases new health insurance option for undocumented immigrants over 65. With all due respect, I don't know why my taxes need to be going to help undocumented immigrants, illegals, get healthcare over the age of 65. So, these people they're all liars. They're all liars. Facts, and I love it so much. What's up, people who are undocumented? Illegal alien invaders of our country. Yes, sir, that's who we're talking about. People that invaded our nation. Thank you. I'm really glad we're on the same page. Yes. Start calling them for what they are. Now, again, JD, I don't understand. JDV has taken over the internet. So anyway, this is a clip from before the primaries when they ran for president, okay? When they asked all the Democrats, who thinks that they're going to be able to get health benefits for illegals?
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Every single one of them. All of them. And now they're walking it back and saying it's not for the illegals. This is treason. These are enemies of our nation. Okay, these people are enemies of our country. They hate us. They are literally... Okay, everyone says the great replacement theory is a theory. Bro, it's a great replacement fact. You are replacing, you say 10% of the funds to go to the other place. Dude, this is literally the virtue signal Olympics of the Democratic Party. Look at this. Every single one of these liars and frauds. I'm really glad we're on the same page. This is a real clip, by the way, of the original Democratic debate for the primaries. I'm pretty sure it was the 2020 primaries. Do you understand? Do you understand? Trump changed the course of history and changed the public zeitgeist so much that even the Democrats are now saying it's not for the illegals, when once upon a time, every single one of them voted for it. And the American retards in the left, they all cheered because they don't realize that free healthcare isn't actually free, and it just means people that are actually paying taxes has that money going to them. Now,
I know that y'all know. We know that
lying to the American people.
Olvida todo lo que sabías sobre los juegos de guerra. El juego de acción a gran escala War Thunder te traerá un
sombrero, which is ridiculously racist stereotype of Mexicans, and Chuck Schumer doctored video, AI video, generated video saying the other and the other blaming the other. And I kind of feel like if you are being affected by this, or if you're a regular American and you're listening to this, it's like wah, 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 wah. Okay, but let's just get some facts on the table. So we've seen these memes that an AI doctored video that Trump has posted, the White House has posted, of Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero, and Chuck Schumer doctored video, AI video, generated video saying that they're fighting for undocumented immigrants. The reason that he puts Hakeem Jeffries in a mustache and a sombrero, which is ridiculously racist stereotype of Mexicans, is because...
But every single time that they say anything like that, or say when it comes to Sunny Hostage, Joy, or even Anna, at times, we've seen it multiple times. She probably do it in this video. It's a problem. It's a problem. Big hypocrites.
They are lying to the American people. Let me say that again. Donald Trump and his administration and his minions are lying to the American people when they say that this shutdown is about undocumented immigrants and giving them the Cadillac health care plan. So let's just put the facts out. Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for ACA subsidies. Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for Medicaid or Medicare. Undocumented immigrants are eligible to receive emergency health care. And it was through a law, I pulled it up, signed by none other than Ronald Reagan in 1986. It's the EMTALA, Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, okay?
Don't worry, I got some stuff for y'all.
Which I would think anybody would think is a necessary thing to give emergency. If someone gets hit by a car, what are you going to let them die?
No, first of all, okay, if somebody gets hit by a car and comes in unconscious, or somebody's crossing a street, and gets shot, which happens a lot in America these days, that you get randomly shot, and you come in unconscious.
Well, a lot of times it has to do with what they say. So she didn't lie there. All she did miss out was when we speak on things like this, as in her, Joy, Whoopi, Sunny. When it comes to them speaking on things like this, that's a lot of reason on why that's the only thing that she missed. But
should I wait until you're back being conscious and prove your citizenship in order to give you medical care? If anybody comes off the street into an emergency room, right, brought by ambulance, brought by a trauma unit, brought by a helicopter because they are dying, we are
y'all know me. I look up certain things. When they speak on things, especially when it's these one-on-one conversations behind the table, I try to find, even when I'm doing, I guess, the whole View, show, I look up things and get the facts straight. So she said, that about legal aliens or whatever. This, in fact, these individuals, and I'm glad they didn't, anything happened to them bad. Listen to what they got to say.
¿Por cuánto tiempo han estado quedándose aquí en el Rojo Hotel?
Desde que yo llegué, en julio,
¿Cuántos meses es eso?
como 7 meses.
¿Y han tenido que pagar alojamiento?
No, nada, no he pagado nada.
So, haven't had to pay rent.
Es 100% gratis.
Sí, sí.
100% free.
¿Y le dan almuerzo, desayuno?
Sí, sí.
And they give you lunch and dinner.
Y le dan como el niño, pues,
And they give you child personal items, diapers, and whatever he needs.
pañales, nos dan pañales, lo que necesiten ellos.
¿Y ahí en el hotel hacen limpieza de las puertas?
Sí, hacen. Sí, todos los días hacen limpieza, cambian las sábanas, hacen aseo.
¿Todos los días hacen eso?
Sí, todos los días.
¿Han poder conseguir trabajo ustedes?
No. Yo no.
Si ustedes tuvieran un problema de
So they don't work. They get personal belongings, diapers, anything that they need, anything that the baby needs. They get their bed sheets changed. Y'all can find this video. Christian Collins, at Collins for Texas, TX. They got on there, the abbreviation. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, what I do is I find these videos. She's literally explaining everything that they get. They get every day. They clean the bathrooms, they clean the bedrooms, they change the sheets. They get free items. They don't have to pay rent whatsoever. He's asking if you had a medical problem.
tuvieran un problema de medicina, ¿cómo podrían recibir?
How would you receive help?
Ayuda con eso.
Bueno, con una tarjeta, la del seguro de
Well, with the medical insurance, Medicare.
Medicare. Y la Metro Plus. Nosotros tenemos la Metro Plus.
And we have the Metro Plus.
Y eso nos abarca
And that covers children
el seguro
needs.
que nosotros necesitamos para los niños y también nosotros
We also benefit from
nos
that.
beneficiamos de eso.
¿Se sintieron apoyados?
Did you feel supported thanks to our president?
Gracias a nuestro presidente Joe Biden.
Meaning Joe Biden.
No, sí. Sí, porque
Yes, because we aren't working or
si
anything.
no estamos trabajando ni nada, él es el que...
It literally goes to show y'all, bro. They're literally telling everybody this. They're telling everybody this. It's no secret. These things are out. It's out, and I'm a person that's going to put this stuff out.
The Chicago Police Department has turned on the mayor Brandon Johnson after he called them a sickness that doesn't help keep the community safe. He also calls ICE agents slave masters, a nice switch up from Nazi Gestapo, who are separating families in the name of cruelty. Even after an ICE facility in Texas was shot up, he continues to intentionally use inflammatory, exaggerated, violence-inciting rhetoric because, newsflash, that's the point. Democrats are trying to stop the enforcement of federal immigration law through violent resistance because they don't care about the safety, well-being, or prosperity of American citizens, only illegal immigrants. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I don't know if it's too early to say this, but we are on the road to 500,000 subscribers. When you guys smash the like button, it helps out a ton. And when you guys watch the video all the way through, it helps out even more. So keep up the support. I really appreciate it. But let's hear Brandon Johnson compare ICE agents to slave masters.
Ripping families apart. It's not the first time this country has done this. And this is why it's important that as black and brown folks, we stand together. Because I come from a lineage which this country ripped black mothers and black fathers away from black children to build this capitalistic society. And they're doing it again. As I've said before, this is not hyperbolic. There are those in this country who still believe that the Civil War went the wrong way. And I just want the immigrant community, whether you're documented or not, that this country has done these type of acts before, and that there are people who understand that. And because we do understand that, it's why I'm able to stand so boldly and so firmly in opposition to what this government is doing. Ripping families apart while abdicating their responsibility to actually fix our broken immigration system.
How come any time an American citizen is arrested and goes to jail, they never characterize it as ripping them away from their families? It's only when illegal immigrants are arrested that they enact this massive moral outrage and start comparing law enforcement to slave owners. It doesn't matter to Brandon Johnson that a huge percentage of ICE agents are Hispanic. He's just a despicable race hustler who seizes on any opportunity to push a narrative that we're all under the boot of white supremacy because it makes him feel like a virtuous freedom fighter. His language of black and brown communities is inherently racist at its core. You're lumping people into categories by skin color and then broadly attributing characteristics to them and viewing them as a monolith, not an individual. Literally the opposite of don't judge me by my skin color, judge me by the content of my character. But Brandon Johnson thrives on furthering the racial divide in America, claiming everything in America is racist and evil. And that's why, despite Chicago being the murder capital of America for 13 years straight, he calls law enforcement a sickness that actually doesn't make the community safer. Take a look.
The fact of the matter is, we are driving violence down on this city, and we're using every single resource that's available to us. Jails and incarceration and law enforcement is a sickness that has not led to safe communities.
Chicago's police department is already understaffed, and this kind of rhetoric coming from the city's mayor only furthers the death spiral. When police feel like the city's mayor hates them and doesn't appreciate their service, why would they continue to risk their lives to try and keep the city safe if their efforts are just going to be in vain? Why would they continue to put themselves in harm's way and take bad guys off the street if the bad guys are just released back into the public because to put them in jail would be racist? And then they quit, which leads to more understaffing, which ultimately leads to crime becoming more prevalent. And then citizens with means leave the city because it's crime infested, which leads to less tax revenue for the city, which leads to less money being spent on law enforcement, and the cycle just continues. But let's hear Chicago's state attorney, who's backed and endorsed by the police, respond to Brandon Johnson's comment calling them a sickness.
The law enforcement is a sickness comment took off in some conservative and pro-police circles on social media, even prompting Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke.
The statement was disappointing and disheartening. We are part of law enforcement. The state's attorney's office is the prosecution arm, and that is clearly law enforcement.
To voice her own outrage during a sit-down interview with me on a different topic.
I have 1,300 people who work in this office who are dedicated public servants, who get up every single day to make sure that they keep women safe from domestic violence, to make sure that we are doing our jobs in protecting children from being sex trafficked, to make sure that we are prosecuting murder cases. What we do every day does not call for our eradication.
When she won her race in November, O'Neill Burke was considered the law and order-focused candidate and was backed by police.
The only people who don't appreciate law enforcement are liberal hippies, criminals, and anarchists, which coincidentally describes the entire Democrat Party. Normal people appreciate law enforcement putting their lives on the line to make our lives safer, especially in a city like Chicago, which has the nickname Chirac because it's compared to a war zone. But listen to this reporter ask Brandon Johnson, since you hate law enforcement so much and they're so ineffective, are you willing to get rid of the 150 officers on your own private security detail?
And your wife, Stacey, be willing to cut your security detail from 150 sworn police officers and put those police officers back on the street where they can protect real Chicagoans?
So we're very proud of the work that we're doing collectively to ensure that our police officers have the resources that they need. As I've said repeatedly, it's policing and affordable housing, it's policing and youth employment, it's policing and mental and behavioral health care services. It's going to take all of us, the business community, the philanthropic community. We're working collectively with Cook County government, the state of Illinois, the state's attorney as well. The volume of cases that we are pushing towards the state's attorney so that we can continue to close out these cases as we really drill down with our detectives division as they solve crime, as they get the evidence over to the state's attorney, gives her the ability to make the prosecution so that we can continue to deter crime in the city of Chicago. That's the holistic approach that we're taking. Thank you.
Cops for me, but not for thee. These people are such hypocrites. They don't even believe their own ideology that they're pushing on everybody else. I don't know how the residents of Chicago elected this idiot with his stupid Roscoe Dash haircut from 2010. He gives these unintelligible Kamala Harris word salad responses to literally everything, and the only time he's ever clear and concise about what he actually thinks is when he's talking about how racist something is or how evil white people are. He claims to be this big supporter of black people, even though like 90% of all murder victims in Chicago are black, and 50% of murders in Chicago going unsolved. He doesn't think more law enforcement would help people. We just need more youth employment opportunities. Here he is doing damage control after the massive backlash from Chicago PD.
Hoping to clarify what Mayor Johnson meant by law enforcement is a sickness, we asked him today.
The people who heard my statement, they know exactly what I meant and what I'm talking about. They're using this moment to politicize, to justify their own insecurities. I'm not going to stand for it, I'm not going to take it, and neither will the residents of this fine city.
Johnson explained that, quote, the addiction of jails and incarceration is one that we have to wean ourselves off of. This time leaving out a reference to law enforcement specifically.
When you just responded, though, you didn't loop in law enforcement this time. So did you not intend to use the
I said that
law
enforcement, here's what I've said, though. Law enforcement alone does not keep communities safe. Law enforcement agrees with me on that. How do you send police officers into communities when there's little access to affordable housing? What is a police officer's responsibility to hunger?
The Democrat philosophy that crime is a result of poverty isn't just insulting to poor people, but it creates an unsolvable chicken and egg problem. Does high poverty lead to high crime, or does high crime lead to high poverty? But what they refuse to accept is you can never fix the poverty problem if you don't fix the crime problem first. Yes, more youth employment opportunities would help. More grocery stores in the community would help. More investment into these areas would help. But nobody is going to invest money to open up a business if it's just going to get robbed and terrorized. Nobody's going to spend money opening community centers if they're just going to get shot up. Nobody's going to spend money repairing buildings if the only people who are willing to live in these crime-ridden areas are people who are going to trash your property. That is why law and order is one of the fundamental reasons for the success and prosperity of America. There's a reason people invest money here and not in Sudan. And that same principle applies on a local level. Democrats may be fine with performative virtue signaling, but the people you need to risk their capital to help uplift these areas certainly aren't. And while Brandon Johnson pretends to speak for the residents of Chicago with his 6% approval rating, the last thing I want to show you in this video is some actual residents on the street giving their opinion on the crime problem.
We want ICE to come. Please, everybody try to help Chicago and call ICE. The number is 866-DHS2-ICE. We are going to move our people away from this culture of liberal failure that has compromised our sovereignty and left the citizens of Chicago behind. Go Red.
I will tell you right now, I'm a person that lives on the south side of Chicago. Let's talk about what things is happening in our neighborhood, but you want to put a Band-Aid and you want to act like this town is good. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how many people get killed in downtown Chicago every weekend. Don't board up things to put a Band-Aid on a crisis.
It's a shame. It's awful.
And Brandon Johnson doesn't do anything to stop it?
Brandon Johnson is not worth a quarter. He's not worth a quarter. Clean the city up and keep it clean. Don't make it look good. Don't put a facade on for the people that's coming here. I don't think that's fair, and I don't think he should have another term, period. I will never vote for him. Never.
Brandon Johnson claims to stand in solidarity with his fellow black people, but yet advocates and pushes for policies that directly harm them. The city is now bankrupt and running at a $1 billion deficit because they spent so much money on illegal aliens.
And now she's insulting me and telling me that I'm fat. What's their job? Arresting people who are assaulting people on public property. Like you guys? Oh, who am I assaulting? Who am I assaulting? Who am I talking to? Excuse me, touching me like this?
In the face! In the face!
I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're gonna find out.
All right, everyone, all pedestrians will move outside the road or you'll be arrested for impeding. All pedestrians will move outside the road now or you will be arrested for impeding. Let's move them out.
Move off the roadway.
Why?
Clear the road. Move off the roadway now.
Back.
Clear out. Clear out of the way.
Sir, get back. Go.
Get up.
You need an ambulance? You need an ambulance? You all right? You need an ambulance, sir. Take my phone. I got it. You threw it down, motherfuckers. We got video. You threw it. Get back. Get back. Get back. Let's get him here. Now. Get that man.
We're just standing there. You're arresting him. He's a veteran.
Dana, D-A-N-A. Briggs, B-R-I-G-G-S.
That's a veteran.
Give us your hands! Get your hands open! On your back now! Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back! Your name and date of birth! Your name and date of birth! Get back! Get back! Get back! Everyone get back! Your name and date of birth! Henry! Get back! Do not impede! Do not interfere! Do not interfere! No! You will be arrested if you interfere! Safe distance! You're no better than we are!
All right, folks. Chief Bovino, everybody clear the road. This is your one and only warning. If you don't clear the road, you'll be arrested.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
This is now an unlawful assembly in the middle of this road. Everyone's going to move out of the road now or you're subject to arrest. I say again, subject to arrest. Everyone out of the road now. Move. Don't move. Out of the road. All the way out of the road or I'll put you under arrest. Everyone out of the road. Out of the road.
Hey, yo, bro.
Hey, get back. I need to speak to you for a second. I need you to stop. Out of the road. Good?
Yes, sir. All clear, sir.
Watch the buckets in the mouth.
That eyes on, sir. Got your back, Chief.
Mr. Gavino, do you believe these people are domestic terrorists? What did they do to you? Tell me, son, what did those people do to you? Do you realize there are children today, right now, that you just escorted in that will never see their family again? Quit. Go back and get the math labs in your states. Yeah, educate your kids.
It's a dead Nazi! Don't kill yourself!
I think lock them goes in the middle.
I can't help but laugh at how stupid these people are. They engage in stupid behavior and then start crying as if what they were doing was not stupid. If it's the case that you're going to destroy cities, destroy people's properties, and understand that you might get caught by the police and you might get arrested, it would be stupid of you to start crying and shouting as if you weren't doing anything wrong. At least accept the fact that you did engage in stupid behavior instead of crying like little babies, the babies that you are. Before we get back into the video, if you...
This is the first time we are not seeing chaos, and that's because today
today, for the first time, state and local officials allowed police to actually be involved in the crowd control with these protests. And that's what they did this morning, is they cleared out this crowd of hundreds of activists that included some paid agitators.
So this is an interesting story because the repeated Chicago ICE riots that we've seen basically every single weekend came to an abrupt end yesterday after the Broadview Chicago Police Department basically caved to President Trump, and local leaders in that area are now allowing the police to really do their jobs and crack down on the repeated left-wing riots. And that's certainly good news to be celebrated. However, on the other hand, when you look at how quickly and effectively this was all shut down the moment that police were finally allowed to do their jobs, it further does confirm your suspicion that we all had about places like Chicago up until this point, or especially Portland, Oregon, which is to say, in any case where you're seeing repeated left-wing rioting and social unrest, it's not a matter of the local government can't do anything about it. It's that they're making a conscious choice to allow it to happen. And that is not a good indictment of a place like Portland or many of these local Democrat leaders. And it does further prove Trump's point. Every time he talks about sending the National Guard or federalizing an area, well, after all, if there is an active abdication by the local government to stop violence or actually enforce the law on their own streets, and federal agents as a result are in danger of that, then you sit there and tell me that's not justified. That said, guys, in today's video, I want to bring you this full story on how, in a rather perhaps shocking or surprising reversal, suddenly, for whatever reasons we'll kind of speculate and discuss, yesterday the local Broadview area decided to allow police to actually stop enforcing their sanctuary city policy and start enforcing the real law. That immediately left-wing riots completely fell apart. It's really funny how that works. That said, guys, do us a favor before we get into it, and make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Doing so is the best way to support our work and ensure that we can keep bringing you these videos. And that said, as a casual reminder, we've done several videos on this, but yes, this is the exact ICE facility where we've seen people get arrested carrying guns, doing who knows what they were intending, right, against the local ICE officials. This is, by the way, the same building where that one Democrat congressional candidate, I think her name is like Kat Ugabadu or something like that, keeps on making these political stunts. Like 2 weeks ago, she said she got body slammed by ICE because they told her to stop sitting in the road. She refused. They picked her up and moved her. She refused. She came back to sit down again, and then they picked her up again and then dropped her on the ground. They said, "Oh, I got body slammed." Or, you know, the other week, she was standing in front of a moving vehicle and then claimed that they were trying to run her over because all they were doing is, standing in front of a crosswalk, even though they were blocking the road. So these are the types of antics. And yes, we have seen cases of violence. We've seen some of these radical Antifa lunatics openly make death threats against the ICE agents. And it's been basically a recurring thing every single weekend, and especially every single Friday. That said, yesterday started off looking as it usually does. Right here, you saw a scene at only 9 a.m. in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, where this many crazy, insane leftists had already showed up, and they're getting in a shoving match with the law enforcement there.
Oh, look, I'm getting a call from one.
Yeah, so you basically get the idea, right? The peaceful left. However, you may start to notice something different about this situation, which is that by my estimation, some of these people actually do not look like federal agents. They look like local law enforcement. Now, why is that significant? Well, because whenever federal agents are deployed to these areas, their jurisdiction is limited in scope for, constitutional or legal reasons. Now, I would argue that in the case where the local government, as we are proving here, just abdicates its duty, that it's sort of also a question of, okay, if the federal government goes down the street, who's really going to stop them? I don't know, just a genuine question I have. But, it is what it is, right? This is why it's been important, actually. It's kind of necessary, unless you want to federalize the city, that local law enforcement actually do go and step in. So we'll tell you what happened as a result in a second here. But I further want to show you the scene from early yesterday morning where the Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino had to yell at left-wing militants outside of ICE and ordered them to disperse or face arrest. And then guess what happens? They don't disperse, so some of them did indeed face arrest.
He's doing his video! He's doing his video!
Move down the block! This is the zone you are allowed to protest
Look at these completely peaceful protesters asked to disperse repeatedly. They don't do it. They start getting into shoving matches and then cry the victim when they got arrested. Ladies and gentlemen, that's left-wing protest culture for you for several weeks. I will reiterate, I don't know exactly why this is. This could be because of Trump threatening to send federal troops into the city, and so it's kind of a saving of face. Hey, pretend like you're doing something. We did also previously cover, I think just a couple of days ago, how the Broadview police chief was really pissed off after ICE agents called him a coward. Because there's literally video, the federal agents are pushing and shoving back with the protesters, and the Broadview police chief is just walking by like, do. So I don't know, maybe his ego was damaged, and he actually decided, okay, now I'm going to do my job. Not sure, local leaders, the local residents are just pissed off with what's happening. I have no idea why you're seeing this change. But that said, it is certainly welcome news. For whatever it was, and I'm sure it was thanks to some type of political pressure, whether that's ICE calling the police chief a coward or Trump or something like that. But take a look at this. Because within hours of local police actually stepping in and doing their job, a situation that is usually noisy, chaotic, and violent every single weekend suddenly did a 180. As you can see here, just yesterday afternoon and evening, Broadview Chicago ICE facility had gone silent because the police were allowed to do their jobs and arrest violent left-wing Antifa and paid rioters. And yes, exactly. Imagine that. When you actually make a conscious choice to allow law enforcement to do their job, it turns out you don't have to deal with left-wing and Antifa violence every single weekend. Which then further verifies the fact that it is a conscious choice by local leaders to allow Antifa and left-wing violence every single weekend. In a sense, they are endorsing it, which is why I constantly use the word insurrection as of late, because this is something that was being allowed by the local government. But hey, I guess credit where it's due. We'll see how long it lasts, right? But apparently in Chicago, that is no longer the case. So take a listen.
Here, we have had huge crowds of protesters coming out every Friday for the past month. And this is the first time we are not seeing chaos. And that's because today, for the first time, state and local officials allowed police to actually be involved in the crowd control with these protests. And that's what they did this morning, is they cleared out this crowd of hundreds of activists that included some paid agitators, according to federal agents. We saw at least a dozen people taken into custody, and at least 5 are now facing charges, including 2 accused of attacking officers. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was here in Broadview at the ICE Processing Center this morning. You can see this video of her on the roof where a sniper's nest has been put up as the threats against ICE have increased after more than a month of often chaotic protest at this facility. Last night, though, despite not allowing local police to be involved in crowd control until today, Broadview's mayor argued ICE is completely to blame for the chaos.
When you see agents dispersing tear gas or chemical minutia or rubber pellets, what do you call it? It's unacceptable. We don't need to be policed. We know how to maintain.
The question from federal officials, though, is if you know how to police, why haven't you been doing it? And after more than a month of these chaotic protests, federal agents have been left on their own to deal with these huge crowds of hundreds of activists trying to keep ICE officers from bringing in the illegal aliens that they've arrested as part of Operation Midway Blitz. And the change you can see here tonight, it is just night and day from what we've been seeing over the past month. Joey?
Thanks, Garrett.
Is the reaction of the local residents who, in many of these cases, right? There's this belief, we have the left-wingers have the mandate of the people, even though we lost the election. And, everyone wants to see, they're all inspired by us protesting and showing resistance to Donald Trump, and everything in their eyes is like this LARP in their head that they're these 1960s civil rights activists or something like that. But in reality, as you could imagine, the people living in the area are annoyed that these noisy, violent protests and riots are breaking out down the street from their homes or places of work basically every single weekend, which is exactly why you see here some Black Chicago residents going out and saying, quote, Daddy Trump said y'all gotta go, right? Black locals came down to the Broadview ICE facility on October 3rd to show support. I don't think it's necessarily just about Trump's deportations policies. It's about them being so happy that the protesters are finally stopping to be annoying and no longer causing a bunch of problems in the local community. So take a listen.
You know what? I'm Cuban. They gotta go. No, that's all of me, That's all of me, Talking out of me, racist. My God, it's racist. Just get threatened, baby. I am. Trump said go home. Trump said go home. Daddy Trump said y'all gotta go. Come on now. If you don't like my people, get the out of here. It's real simple. Real simple. You don't like my people? Get the out of here. It's real simple. We're never going away, motherfucker. Tens of thousands of years. We're never going away. You can never get rid of a native. You can never get rid of a native.
Come on.
You ain't got no land.
If you ain't white, you ain't saying
got no land. You ain't got no land.
Y'all ain't got no land. I love this guy so much. What a patriot. But all of that in mind. Okay, we're now going back to the.
This is some of the posting here. So when we were doing ICE enforcement yesterday in Chicago, there were people that were following us as we were rolling through the streets. They would blow whistles to alert any criminal alien that we were in the area. They would shout from bullhorns. There were multiple people that tried to block ICE enforcement in the area and use their vehicles to ram the cars that we were in. It was incredibly dangerous. Also, of course, illegal. You can't interfere in a law enforcement operation. You can't interfere with police. You can't resist arrest. You can't impede officers. Today in Chicago, members of our brave law enforcement were attacked, rammed, boxed in by 10 vehicles. This was a sophisticated attack on federal law enforcement, including an attacker with a semi-automatic weapon. I'm deploying more special operations to the scene. Reinforcements are on the way. If you see a law enforcement officer today, thank them, says Christy Nome. Man, it is a completely failed tyranny state. FBI assets have responded and are investigating the incident in Chicago. Trying to intimidate law enforcement will not slow us down. The mission will not stop. The DHS announces federal agents in Broadview were rammed and boxed in by people who wanted to F them up and who were armed. Pritzker's Chicago Police Department is leaving the shooting scene. How can you just leave a shooting scene? I mean, they're using the police effectively as agents of terrorism now against federal law enforcement. The police are, just like in Portland, the police are defending the terrorists in Chicago. It is wild, man. They need to bring this under heel. A large group of people are now waving Mexican flags and yelling profanities at law enforcement on the scene. Chicago woman shot by ICE and CBP blocking agents with her car, armed with a semi-automatic weapon. Protesters are gathering on the scene. You can see here what that scene looks like. This is crazy because we were just there yesterday. A legal female criminal tried to run over an ICE agent. She was shot and killed. I don't think that's true. According to the available reports, she is at the hospital receiving care. Disturbance going on now in Chicago. People are surrounding ICE agents. This is extremely, extremely dangerous. You're impeding federal law enforcement. This is illegal. Now, we heard Governor Pritzker confirm this morning what the news that we broke yesterday. This morning, the Trump administration's Department of War gave me an ultimatum: call up your troops or we will. It is absolutely outrageous and un-American to demand a governor send military troops within our own borders and against our own will. This is exactly what Christy Nome told us yesterday. Play the clip in just a second. U.S. Attorney's Office in Illinois. The U.S. Attorney's Office is aware of a serious incident, placed our officer life and safety at risk. Department of Justice will not tolerate assault on obstruction of our brave men and women in federal law enforcement. We'll investigate and prosecute those who assault and obstruct federal law enforcement, including public officials, and we'll hold them accountable. Ooh, including public officials. Spicy. Very spicy. Okay, good. Well, start with Pritzker. Here's what Christy Nome told us yesterday. If you were tuned in and locked into our channel, you would know the future because, well, we go to the source and we ask the questions. Christy Nome yesterday saying the Department of War is going to deploy here in Chicago and in Portland. And boom, baby, we were right.
We've seen a lot of attacks in Portland, a lot of news right now with various independent journalists that have been beat, that have been hit in the face, that have been locked up and arrested. What's going on there? Can you give us any status update?
Well, you've got a presence in Portland that is Antifa affiliated. And so that is a situation where you have known professionals, targeted violence that want to tear down America and will apparently attack anyone, even journalists that are just trying to report the truth of what's happening on the streets. So we're not just going to be rolling out of Chicago here, but we're sending in the Department of War at the request that I made to Secretary Hegseth. They're going to be rolling in here within the next 24 hours. They'll be coming to Chicago too. I put a request in today for them to come to Chicago. And we're going to not only have our officers that are out there with HSI and ICE, but we're also going to have backup from our military because everybody deserves that. And so what we saw happen to that journalist last night will not happen again. We will not allow that to happen again, where those individuals are persecuted for trying to show what's happening on our streets and for what they're doing to our law enforcement officers.
Sentenced to 8 years for attempting to assassinate Brett Kavanaugh. I think some information may have been left out of this headline. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Breaking Brad. Now, you may have forgotten, because politics is just insane now and things are constantly happening, but several years ago, there was a detailed plot and an attempt to assassinate conservative Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. The suspect went to his home, traveled all the way to Maryland with a plan, specifically with the goal to kill him, to stop, or to protect, rather, abortion and gun control from being limited by the Supreme Court. Pretty textbook case. Thankfully, the plot was foiled, or depending who you ask, the suspect says that they decided to not go through with it. But anyway, it did not happen, thank God. But this person was charged with very serious crimes, but is getting a light sentence. And now the issue of trans identity has become wrapped up in it all in a truly bizarre way. So first, let's just look at the story and how it's being reported by mainstream media. NBC News. Woman sentenced to 8 years for attempting to assassinate Brett Kavanaugh. The Supreme Court Justice's wife and mother sat in the courtroom as Sophie Roski apologized to the family. So already I have a problem with this, because this is not a woman. This is a trans woman. I mean, so who really only just a few months ago apparently even claimed to identify as trans, at least in terms of as far as the case is concerned. And then they're using this person's name, Sophie, but they haven't even legally changed their name. And the case name is still their original name, which I believe is Nicholas. And so you are just using inaccurate information. You're making claims that are not true, and you're misleading readers into thinking that a woman committed a crime that would be very unusual for a woman to commit. Almost all people who commit these kinds of offenses are males, and yet you're saying woman, which means adult human female, to describe a crime committed by a male. It's very misleading, and it's very inaccurate. At best, I mean, maybe you could say trans woman, right? But it's just to say, oh, well, a woman did this. You are actively deceiving your readers and presenting inaccurate information, including using this preferred name. Now, if there was a legal name change that happened, that'd be one thing, and I would understand using the updated name, but that hasn't happened. So you're just doing, I don't know, service to the ideology and identity of a convicted terrorist? Like, what is going on? So the media coverage of this is already bizarre enough. I mean, I saw the Today Show. I can't insert the clip because of copyright, but the Today Show ran a short segment on this and uploaded it to their YouTube channel with millions of followers. And it just says, woman sentenced. The whole segment doesn't mention that it's a trans woman or a biological male at all. And then even this NBC News story mentions it like buried down in the story, a part that many people won't even get to. I just think it's media malpractice. And I think it's kind of an affront to women to be like lumping them in with crimes that were fundamentally not committed by women in a meaningful, in like the actual objective sense of that word. But the more disturbing part of this story, yes, guys, we have not even gotten to the disturbing part of the story, is that this individual was given a very light sentence by a Biden-appointed judge who literally cited their transgender identity as a reason to give a much softer sentence. And this sentence is so soft, 8 years, including, if you factor in time already served plus good behavior, this person could be out of jail in just 4 years. After attempting an assassination in an act of political terrorism, they could be on the streets in just 4 years. That is diabolical and absolutely insane. And this judge had to actively go against sentencing guidelines, which are apparently not mandatory, but are guidelines, and give a much lighter sentence, and specifically said, oh, I gave this person a lighter sentence because they are trans. She unironically did the Family Guy meme.
Excuse me, ma'am. No porn at the bar.
Oh, it's okay. I'm transgender.
Oh, I had no idea. Do whatever you want all the time.
Here's more information from the Daily Wire. Judge Deborah Boardman, a Joe Biden appointee to Maryland federal court, acknowledged there was, quote, a whopping 22-year difference between the sentence that she gave and the minimum of 30 years called for by federal sentencing guidelines. Prosecutors had asked for sentencing guidelines to be followed. The Department of Justice plans to appeal the sentence, the Daily Wire has learned. Boardman said, under the law, I must consider the sentencing guidelines. The guidelines in this case are 360 months to life. It's important to understand the Supreme Court's stance on guidelines. They used to be mandatory, but the Supreme Court held that they were advisory. Now, the judge acknowledged that, quote, this crime did involve domestic terrorism, but undid most of the terrorism enhancement created by the U.S. Sentencing Commission to increase recommended punishments in terrorism cases. This is incredibly disturbing, and Attorney General Pam Bondi has already come out and condemned this, and I completely agree, and hopefully they're able to appeal this and get a more lengthy sentence for this individual, but to go out of your way to give a lighter sentence than recommended in this kind of a case where you are have someone who tried to assassinate a Supreme Court justice to push a political agenda sends a terrible message in this time of tumultuous political violence and chaos in American politics. We should be sending everybody, left, right, center, Biden appointed judge, Trump appointed judge, should be coming together to say, we say no to political terrorism. We say no to political violence. And if you engage in it, you will be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Not a sentence because you're trans. Violence. And if you engage in it, you will be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Not, oh, we will give you a light sentence because you're trans. Excuse me? And this judge went on like a long rant about while delivering the sentence and reaching her verdict about how the transgender identity literally played a role into why they're giving a softer sentence. I'll read you some more quotes here. In a more than hour-long speech justifying the light sentence, Boardman said, quote, Ms. Rosk came out to herself as transgender in 2020 but kept it secret. Ms. Rosk's sister came out as gay 2 years prior, but Ms. Rosk saw that their parents struggled to reconcile her sexuality with their religious beliefs. All of this is irrelevant as heck. Why are we talking about any of this? At the sentencing. Another quote here. I am heartened that this terrible infraction has helped the Rosk family accept their daughter for who she is, Judge Boardman said. Excuse me, what the f***? Did she just call the attempted assassination of a Supreme Court justice an infraction? And look, I think the issue of whether this person is trans, whether the family accepts them, is irrelevant and should be totally left out of this case. What is going on here? You are a federal judge, not a family counselor. What is going on here? You are a federal not a family counselor. The judge went on to specifically note that under President Trump's policies, this individual will potentially be placed into a male prison and also may not in prison have access to gender-affirming care, hormones, and the like. And as a result, the judge says, quote, so when I sentence her, I take into account that she is a transgender woman. That is insane. First of all, this person belongs in a men's prison, although, of course, steps should be taken to secure their safety. And I would prefer that there would be some kind of separate ward for people who identify as trans, because I do believe trans women, actual trans women, would be at risk in a men's prison. But yeah, we're not putting violent, dangerous biological males in women's prisons. Are you insane?
Around, okay? I hope you enjoyed those channels. I hope you go subscribe to a few that might have appealed to you. And remember to be the lighthouse, you guys. Be the lighthouse. Live your life and understand that people will watch you and learn from you like that. When you go out and you try to preach to people and teach people and tell them what's right and what's wrong, for the most part, no one's listening. They think they know what's right. Do your thing, and when they see how successful you are, that's when you're going to get the eyes on you, okay? Keep going, keep trying, be strong, walk with Christ, and be safe in His light. God bless you guys. Thank you for joining me here. And I better see you in the spooky town, okay? I'm heading over into the mystic. We will be diving into, of course, this damn conspiracy. And I'm not diving into it, so don't expect me diving into it. It's not happening. I'm going to talk some shit about Candace Owens. I'm going to talk about her ass and what she's up to, the conspiracy that I have on Candace and what she's up to, who she really is, allegedly. And then I'll take a break and I'll head into Spookyville and we'll look into cryptids and Appalachian Mountains. Maybe we'll find some JD Vance Skinwalker footage. I'm going. I'm done. Thank you guys. Bye. Oh, I'll see you next time.